The 2023 summer lineup just announced by the Muni. For the ninth time in Muni history, West Side Story returns. Little Shop of Horrors comes back to the Outdoor Theater during its 40th anniversary. Other shows include the premiere of Rent, Chess, Sister Act, and Disney's Beauty and the Beast. The season starts June 12th with a Muni premiere of Beautiful, the Carole King musical. There's a stalled vehicle, 270 northbound past 64. It's on the right shoulder. Watch for a stall 270 northbound. And then a stall 44, I should say, westbound to 141. Be prepared to stop there. That stall 70 eastbound at Goodfellow on the right shoulder should be cleared out in the next couple of minutes. The KMOX forecast sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. A sunny, chilly day, the high 45. Cloudy tonight, then look for snow that can mix with rain at the start. Arriving this evening, continuing overnight. The snow will continue tomorrow morning. Total accumulation at this point, 1 to 3 inches. Watch for slick spots tomorrow night as well. Right now, it's sunny, 38. It feels like 30 downtown at the Arch. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Throughout the 60s and 70s, cops hunted down key figures of the Dixie Mafia, including its enigmatic ringleader, Kirksey Nix.
I'm interested in making money. I'm not interested in hurting people.
15 years into Kirksey's life sentence, the Dixie Mafia was practically folklore, but that would soon change. I'm Jed Lipinski. This is Gone South, a documentary podcast from C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio. Season 2, The Dixie Mafia. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
It's the show on KMOX. Kevin is out. He's in for Dave Glover this afternoon. Amy Marks, Kors, Chris Ranji are with you. We are joined now by Ashley Burnaugh. She is the president of the PTA at Jana Elementary. And as you have heard and been following over the last month or so, last month there was the radioactive contamination that was found via a report, and that was near the end of October. And then this month, the Army Corps of Engineers told Hazelwood School Board that from a, quote, radiological standpoint, Jana Elementary is safe. And to join us now, Ashley is with us to talk about that. Ashley, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's just start with where we are right now, because we got the two reports and we were under the impression that it was not safe to be in that school. The Army Corps says, nope, it is. So where do we stand now?
Well, we currently don't stand any closer to understanding exactly what contamination is at Jana Elementary after the Army Corps report, certainly at all. The Army Corps of Engineers wanted to make this statement, but unfortunately decided not to back any of their statement up with any sort of data or analysis that actually would have strengthened their argument or justified their argument, but rather just came to provide a blanket statement and tell everybody to go home. There's nothing to see here. And so I think we've all fallen for that once or twice before in our lives, and we certainly don't plan to fall for it on a grand scale when over 400 students' lives and teachers are at risk.
So the private firm that tested around Jana Elementary said that they found higher than expected levels of polonium, radium, and other materials inside the school. the Army Corps of Engineers did their testing. They said they took nearly 1,000 samples and measurements throughout the building and the school grounds. They said they didn't find any levels above what would naturally occur. And you're saying they didn't provide any of the data or information. It was just a statement that they didn't find it. There's no way for you to corroborate the actual samples that they took?
That is correct. What we do know is the Army Corps of Engineers had been sampling at Jana Elementary School property. They absolutely have found radioactive contamination by way of those sample results, and those we do have available. And the Jana PTA has even color-coded that and provided some analysis for those samples, and those are available to the public. You can look at the Army Corps of Engineers already existing data samples from 2018 to 2021 already via the Jana PTA. Within those samples, they absolutely identified hot spots within the Coldwater Creek bank and in the sediment on surface. 100% of their samples that they've already taken tested higher than what should be found in nature for radium, and almost 70% of those same samples on surface tested higher than what should be found ever in the world for thorium, which is another one of those radioactive elements. Both of those elements can get you to the radioactive lead that was found inside the school. The Army Corps of Engineers' most recent results indicate that they found 5 samples that they could work with for the dust in the school. Now, a dust that held in a school for over 400 kids, they took 5 samples. But they said those 5 samples could not provide them adequate information. I'm telling you, my kids come home plenty dusty, and it's really important that they take this as serious as we are.
Yeah, I don't really know from a scientific standpoint what the appropriate amount of samples to get would be, but that doesn't seem like I mean, for me, it just doesn't seem like a job well done there. Like it wasn't very thorough. At least that's how the perception is on my part.
You know, we have that same kind of perception. We do know the Boston Chemical Company offered to go in side by side with the Army Corps of Engineers and sample right next to them. And we still suggest that this should be the method used. And however many people that need to sample all together do this. It's called splitting samples. And basically, person A takes a sample from a designated area, person B takes a sample from that designated area, and C, D, E, F, G kinds of people also sample. They all send them out to their respective labs, and then they analyze what comes back. And because it all gets done at the same time, it all gets done in the same area, the likelihood that your samples can speak to each other's data makes sense. So we can compare apples and apples, oranges and oranges, bananas and bananas, and on down the list.
When we look at the nuclear waste around Coldwater Creek and then extending through to Jana Elementary, obviously we know that that is leftover nuclear waste from the Manhattan Project back in the 1940s. That was a Mallinckrodt Company project, but they were hired by the U.S. government. So if you were to find, the private firm did find radioactive levels at Jana Elementary higher than would be expected. If the Army Corps of Engineers were also to find those same levels, what is their or the military's culpability or responsibility to handle that situation?
You know, it is a little bit uncomfortable to know that the same people that made the waste are responsible for testing for the waste and then ultimately responsible for providing a peer review of the sampling conducted at the waste before they finally get around to cleaning up the waste. Mm-hmm. However, we do understand that the Army Corps of Engineers does have the expertise to get rid of this radioactive contamination. We think 80 years has been far too many years too long to be just still moving down the creek before any of this stuff is disposed of. And so we do know that they have the capability to do it. I think they're qualming and hanging on to this language. And for you and I, levels that are expected seems to me like you wouldn't expect any at an elementary school. However, when the Army Corps of Engineers says those kinds of things, they expect some levels of radioactive contamination to be there. And they won't clean up unless it reaches sometimes a 50 times what should be found in nature threshold. And for them, what they expect to find in nature is far above what should be found in anyone else's nature. And so they are comfortable leaving, even on an elementary school playground, up to 50 times, 14 times, and 4 times what should be found in nature or expected in nature. And so even those kinds of nuanced language that we understand in common vernacular is absolutely very different when we're talking about the government agencies responsible for this plague that they've left.
Let's say the discrepancy, that gap in the findings stays. It remains. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says, nope, it's fine for children to return to the school. And yet the school feels uncomfortable because of the findings from the private firm. How do you move forward? Is it decision of the parents? Is it decision of school faculty of, okay, whose findings are we going to base our plan on?
That is a really excellent question. And it's one that we've still been grappling with this entire time. Our parents of Jana Elementary and the Jana Elementary School community contend that it is absolutely our parental right and our right to protect our children amidst anyone else's analysis about what is safe for kids. There is absolutely no safe level of bomb waste for kids in elementary schools. It shouldn't be in our playgrounds, it shouldn't be on our schools, and it should definitely not be in our communities. And so I believe we as a community get to decide that information. You can't convince me that bombs made to kill people should actually be part of the playground space for children. And I think we as parents, if we get to decide how much TV time is appropriate or how much sugar is appropriate, then by all means, we absolutely get to be the deciding factor of what bomb waste is appropriate and how much. And we're going to argue 0 is the appropriate level for bomb waste in children.
And you are president of the PTA at Jana Elementary. What are some of the comments or concerns or lack of concern you're receiving from parents? Do some parents say, hey, we just need to get our kids back in school? Are others more concerned about the presence of potential nuclear waste?
I don't think there's one parent I've interacted with that seems to think this is no big deal. This is absolutely a huge deal and a huge disruption to our education. We absolutely think the kids need to be back in school, but we would like to see our kids all kept together in a different building within the Hazelwood School District, which we do know that there are 2 open buildings that we are not being allowed to utilize for our kids right now. We absolutely want to see no disruption come to their education. And we think it's important that the kids don't have to deal with this kind of problem left behind by adults from generations before. However, we are dealing with it. And it absolutely has to be top of mind for all of our parents because we are scrambling to provide virtual education at home. Some of our parents are providing that, to their own economic detriment. And it is an incredibly difficult thing to grapple with when you consider the long-term health impacts of the long-term exposure to radioactive contamination, not just for our kids currently at Jana, but for every student and teacher that has ever gone through Jana Elementary or lived in this community.
So as far as the Army Corps of Engineers and the Department of Energy are concerned, is this a closed case or is this still ongoing?
I believe the Army Corps of Engineers has to admit this is still very much an ongoing case. They have radioactive hotspots on Jana School property, and right next to Jana School property, they're qualming about lines in the sand about whose property it is. But right next to Jana Elementary School property, there are more than 10 hotspots that the Army Corps of Engineers has identified on their maps that they have provided via Freedom of Information Act request. And so they will have to remediate those spots. Whether or not they remediate anything else is still to be determined. But the Jana Elementary School community will absolutely continue to see to it that our school district is not made to grapple with this radioactive contamination on its property alone. We know the contaminator is the Department of Energy and the companies that enrich the uranium in St. Louis. We intend to make sure that they do not leave the bill to our school district. This is absolutely something far above and beyond any school district should ever have to deal with. Our school districts are dealing with enough and certainly have enough financial constraints around providing education that they just don't need another burden thrown on top of them. And we will absolutely see to it that our school district does not fight this battle alone.
Ashley, what is your recourse and what sort of help does Jana Elementary, the students and the parents need?
We need all the people. We need people voices most importantly. And folks can join us at our November 15th meeting. That's Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the Hazelwood School District to hear, I guess, this newest presentation from the Army Corps of Engineers and subcontractors. But also the Army Corps of Engineers is going to be hosting its own community meeting. Although they haven't shared the details with us just yet, but that's coming out on Wednesday, the 16th. So you think that they would have a location and a time pretty soon. So we could certainly use all the help in getting that information to the parents. But we need people to be present. We need folks to ask these kinds of questions because we know it impacts so many folks' health, not just folks at Jana Elementary, but all of North County. This is bigger than Jana. And so if you would like to ask questions of the Army Corps of Engineers, we encourage that. If you'd like to come and show support for the Jana Elementary School students, we support that. And we also support this being a bigger initiative to clean up Coldwater Creek properly, do it now, do it as expeditiously as possible so that we can get this radioactive contamination out of the 19 Mile Creek and out of our lives.
So again, the meeting tomorrow, where is it and what time?
The meeting tomorrow will be at the Hazelwood School District. That's the administration building at 15955 New Halls Ferry Road in Florissant, Missouri. Again, that's the Hazelwood School District building, and that is at 6:00 p.m. The Wednesday meeting from the Army Corps of Engineers is still TBD, so to be determined, so tune back in. But you're welcome to look at the Jana Elementary School Facebook page or get with your favorite friends from Jana Elementary to share our updates on that meeting, or ask the Army Corps of Engineers themselves. I hope that they'll have some updates for us soon.
Ashley, we appreciate your time. Thanks for giving it to us, and we wish you the best of luck. And anything we can do to help, of course, we'll do that too.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the listener support and all of your support in helping us communicate these important messages out to the public. We absolutely believe transparency and the media have a place in this, and we support your work. Thank you.
That is Ashley Burnaugh. She is the president of the PTA at Jana Elementary. And again, that meeting tomorrow night, and that will be at 6:00. Amy and Chris on the show. What's Trending is coming up next.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicide, mental health, or substance use crisis, call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, trained crisis specialists will listen to your concerns, provide support, and get you the help you need. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. A message from the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Now, that's a good question. If your vision is blurry, you notice dark spots in the middle of your field of vision, you're seeing flashes or new floaters, if you have difficulty seeing distances, if there's a sharp pain in one eye along with vision changes, or if you have trouble driving because of glare, these are all good reasons to make your appointment with the doctors and Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com. And if your eyes are itchy and scratchy, that might be more than allergies. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranj Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati are also leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. I've been a patient of theirs for about 25 years. In Sullivan, St. Peters, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com.
The holidays are here, but for some families, they'll spend that time at FSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. I'm Carol Daniel. KMOX, along with all of our sister stations at our company, Odyssey STL, are again proud to partner with you and other generous St. Louisans in our community to raise funds for the Tree of Hope campaign for Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It's so easy to give. Just text the word HOPE to 20357 or KMOX.com/Cardinal Glennon.
Hey, KMOX listeners, Roger Wigginton here at Don Rogers Limited, 6727 West Main in Belleville. Well, we're certainly getting deep into fall. Holiday season is right around the corner. Hard to believe, but it is. At Don Rogers Limited and our men's and women's apparel departments, we are fully stocked. The assortment is incredible. But for holiday wearing or holiday sharing, think of Don Rogers as your one-stop shop. If you need a special gift of men's and women's apparel, we've got it. If you're looking something for yourself that's cute and different for the holidays, we've got it. You know, we've got a huge selection of men's and women's sweaters, probably more sweaters than any store in the area. Plenty of free parking, free gift wrap on in-store purchases, free alterations on in-store purchases. You know, we'd love to have you stop by. Of course, always great service. Don't forget, we're located at 6727 West Main in Belleville. Park at the door, walk in, get waited on. We'd love to see you. And as always, thank you so very much for listening to our commercial.
Sail with American Queen Voyages in North America's mighty rivers, Great Lakes, oceans, and expeditions to the wilds of Alaska. Call 844-744-0794 or contact your travel professional.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones, great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
And as always, Trending is sponsored by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Cottleville. Ron, I would like to go first.
I would like for you to go first.
Because this is amazing to me. It is Twitter trending on Twitter. The whole Inception Matrix thing continues. You know, very surreal, very meta. Elon Musk tweeted out yesterday, quote, rolling out soon. Twitter will enable organizations to identify which other Twitter accounts are actually associated with them. He's inventing the check mark. He ruined the check mark, and now he has to invent a new check mark system because over the weekend, there were so many organizations that created Twitter accounts with blue check marks that looked similar to Eli Lilly or Coca-Cola, which said we're excited to add cocaine back into the soda, and just made ridiculous statements and tweets. And I think it was Chiquita Banana said we've taken over the government of Brazil, and then the Chiquita Banana had to say no, we didn't do that.
But it wasn't even them. It was no, I'm sorry, that was Eli Lilly.
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical company,
Mhm.
because there was a tweet that all insulin is free now,
Right.
but it wasn't them. And the tweet that apologized for the insulin tweet was also from a fake account.
No kidding.
So
And then
it's
Bernie
just-
Sanders jumped in and said insulin should be free.
But
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it should not cost what it costs. I'll tell you that. But it's just, what is he doing? I can't understand what the end game is unless he is trying to kill the platform for some reason. But I don't know what that could be.
I think he made an incredible blunder driven by ego, and then he had to move forward with it. He had to, he made that bed, he's got to sleep in it. So it's now he's somewhat spiraling out of control, and his ego won't let him admit that. Even tweeting out, we're going to create a system that allows companies to ensure that those tweets and people are associated with them. That is literally why we created, or why Twitter created, the blue check mark in the first place. This is a conversation that I heard one time, which was just genius, about, this kid in college trying to figure out a way to make public transportation more efficient, make it greener. And they just didn't like all these rideshare companies because we're all taking our own Ubers. We're still adding cars to the roads. And he said, what we need is like
A tunnel.
an Uber
Oh.
that goes the same route every day and makes frequent stops at the same stop places every day.
It's called a bus.
That's exactly right. The kid invented the bus system.
Oh, God.
He invented city buses. It was hilarious. And it just, people then started showing other conversations like that about a kid said, we need a place where people can share books. It's a library. But the bus creator, that's what Elon Musk is doing. He just created blue check marks again.
You know what else is trending right
What's
now? Pete Davidson.
Oh, boy.
Pete Davidson, because allegedly,
Mhm.
I don't know if this is real or not. It is not confirmed, but there is a report from Rap TV,
Rap
which is
TV?
It's got almost 900,000 followers, so it must be something. He's dating Emily Ratajkowski.
Oh, yeah, the blurred lines girl?
Yeah, the model.
The model, yes, with the...
How is he doing this?
He is so gross. I don't mean to be mean. Maybe he just is tired. Maybe he needs more sleep. I don't get his appeal, but he's dated all of the most famous, I don't know,
Kim
girls.
Kardashian,
Mm-hmm.
Ariana Grande,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the least attractive dudes you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, he looks very tired.
I think there's an appeal to have already dated somebody really attractive, and then other women think, oh, there must be something about you.
Ugh.
You know?
He looks like he needs some sleep. Maybe that would really improve his appearance.
Shamim Clark Hubbard is the alderwoman of the ward, the 26th ward. She is going to be in with us next on the show. Amy and Chris on KMOX.
Hey, Mott's Matt here for Brewpub Lots of Mott's Pizza. You know, there are very few things in life worth waiting for. Pizza's done.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm starving. I've been waiting.
I wouldn't do that. It's going to be really...
It's so hot. It's burning my mouth.
A Brewpub Lots and Lots of Pizza it's the epitome of delayed gratification. So when your Brewpub pizza is done and the temptation to dive right in due to the deliciousness of every bite overwhelms you, step back, give it time, and know it's worth the wait. Brewpub Lots and Lots of Pizzas available in your local grocery store.
Chad here with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy property as is. For those of you not paying attention, the market is changing and prices are not continuing to rise. If you've thought about selling your house in the past few years, now is the time before the market changes even more. I'm here to make you a cash offer and a quick close on your timeline. You can find us online and fill out a form at ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, KLAMEN Group.com.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky and 40 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour.
This is a sad, shocking, and tragic day for our UVA community.
University of Virginia police say they have captured the suspect involved in a shooting where 3 people were killed and 2 others wounded. University President Jim Ryan gave an update on the investigation.
University police responded to a call of shots fired in the Culbreth parking garage area. The suspected shooter is UVA student Christopher Darnell Jones Jr.
He says a motive for the shooting has not been identified.
Upon arrival at the scene, university police encountered several victims of gunshot wounds. The shootings occurred on a bus full of students returning from a field trip.
And again, that suspect in the shooting at the University of Virginia has been taken into custody. Democrats retain control of the Senate, but Republicans appear likely to take the House. CBS News correspondent Elise Preston has more.
Democrats celebrated after incumbent Senator Catherine Cortez Masto's projected win in Nevada over Republican challenger Adam Laxalt. It cemented Democratic control of the U.S. Senate by a narrow margin, even ahead of Georgia's December runoff between Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. With votes still being counted in some districts, CBS News estimates the U.S. House leans Republican.
Need to fly somewhere soon? Hope you have deep pockets.
Procrastinated and still haven't gotten your flight home for the holidays? Get ready to fork out a whole lot of money. Airline tickets are up in a major way, partly because there are fewer flights still post-pandemic, but the number of people flying is back up to pre-pandemic levels. Hotels are going to cost you a pretty penny too to cover high labor costs. One positive, the price to rent a car isn't as bad as it was during much of 2021, but supplies could be tight in some cities. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
4 women are arrested in a department store theft.
The women reside in Texas. 33-year-old Lavina Geljimeanu, 39-year-old Desdemona Dila, along with Ana Karuru and Exmira Vasil, both 31 years old. St. Louis County Police accused them of stealing over $22,000 worth of merchandise from Kohl's in Fenton on Saturday. A bulk of the items were cosmetics from the Sephora section. When police arrested the women, they had the stolen merch with them. Warrants have been sent to the prosecutor. Each of them are being held on a $75,000 cash-only bond. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk. It's St. Louis Startup Week at several locations across the region, Missouri and Illinois. Organizer and owner of co-working space Tech Artista, Chris Holtz.
St. Louis Startup Week is basically just a great chance to kind of gather in person and celebrate a lot of the really cool things that are happening in the ecosystem here, and get a chance to bring out people who have, ranged from well-established, long time entrepreneurs to people who are starting and trying to do something a little different.
You can hear more on the Nothing Impossible podcast. That's our show all about local innovation, and it's on the Odyssey app. And the Dow from Stifel's up 76 points to 33,824. Right now, we've got emergency vehicles on 70 going east before Adelaide. It's got the left lane blocked. A stall 270 north at Ladue on the right shoulder. Another stall 270 north past 6440 on the right shoulder.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny, chilly, up to around 45 this afternoon. And then that snow comes in tonight. Could be mixed with some rain at the start, but 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation into tomorrow morning. Watch for slick spots again tomorrow night. Low 40s in between tomorrow, down to 25, 30 tomorrow night. With AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. It's a sunny sky, 39 in Florissant, 40 in St. Peters, and 40 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Furnace funky?
Then make one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. Wonder Lights Christmas in St. Louis is brighter than ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The holliest, jolliest Christmas light show in the area is celebrating the season from November 11th until January 1st. Tickets now available at WonderlightsChristmas.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
It's after 11 o'clock on the show. Chris Ranji and Amy Marks Kors. Kevin is out. He's in with the afternoon show today. We are joined now by Shameen Clark Hubbard, who is the alderwoman for the 26th Ward here in St. Louis, and she joins us live in studio. How you doing?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Oh, I think we're good.
I think we're doing great because, as you have in front of you, the Christmas Starbucks cups
Oh, yeah, the
are out,
Christmas
like the
Starbucks
holiday
cups.
cups. Doesn't it just make you happy?
It makes me very happy.
It makes me happy too, and I don't know if I should care, but I do. I love it so much. It is my favorite. So we wanted to have you in studio because there is the proposal for the universal basic income that we've learned about, and we know that it's happened around the world in certain places. Usually, it's on a more nationwide scale, but this is something more local that you're looking at.
Actually, all the ones that I've seen have been in local
Is that right?
municipalities and cities. Yeah. Other than, if you want to compare it to the child tax credit we got during the pandemic from the federal government, kind of similar idea of a resource. But the other places that I've been studying have been in cities.
And your proposal is using $5 million in federal pandemic aid for this program to provide a guaranteed basic income. Now, who is the target for this? Who would qualify to receive this money? And then how much would that look like for each person?
Amy, I wish I could answer all those questions right now this morning. We are still working through the implementation process of what this looks like. If I had a magic wand, I would definitely want it to go to not only the neediest, but also there's a demographic of working families that could use this as well, like the child care tax credit, and so I'm not sure. I can't give you any details on that, but I do know we're looking at a comparison of 1 year or 2 year different amounts of money. But I just can't put right now, put something on that, a definite answer on that one.
And just as a quick follow-up, because it is the federal pandemic money, it was a one-time benefit for the city. Is this a program that you hope to continue once those funds have been spent, or is this just a momentary thing? How sustainable is it?
Sustainable, again, with my magic wand, Amy, would be yes. But the reality is that so this is it's from the windfall that we got from the pandemic, but also this need was exacerbated by the pandemic and by this. So it's a direct meet to the need that was created out of this. So I think it's a good fit for this money, for these funds, and it's going to be a good resource for our families in our city.
So I have read that this has been a program similar to this has been successful in other places.
Yes.
We're talking about all around the world. It's been successful. What, in your research, what did you come to the conclusion? Like, how would it work here? And I don't know what sort of studying of it you've done and how it directly impacts St. Louisans as opposed to how it would work somewhere else.
Well, we did the DCA payment a while back in the first round of ARPA funds, and we saw an immediate impact in people's daily needs. They met needs that they were worried about, for lack of a better word. So I think that this is just building capacity in that what we know worked, what we saw worked. We have the data that shows that it worked in the city already, and expanding that program to that. So basic needs, the word is said is perfect. I mean, some people just bought gas and groceries. Some people paid for tuition for their children to maybe go to a STEM program or go to an after school program that they couldn't quite afford at first. It was built into the budget like that. And so hopefully doing something like this long term instead of the one payment, the one shot that we got last time, will even build on to that. And that, I think, the sustainability piece, now that you brought that up, I think the sustainability piece, even if it's not the funds, would be the education, the empowerment that'll give the families generationally, that they'll have this either year or 2 years to work this in and not be worried about that,
When you bring up the previous program, are you talking about the $500 checks
Yes.
that were issued to the neediest in the city of St.
Yes.
Louis?
Mm-hmm.
And has all of that money been spent? All of those checks been
That
handed
original
out?
program has been exacerbated. I'm not sure if we're going to look into that again, but we have the data, and I can send you all the information if you want to put it up. I'm not sure how the show works if you can put the information up, but we have the data on how the needs that were met with that $500 payment one time. So just imagine what we could do over a year or 2 years time.
I'm sure you know that there would be challengers to something like this. There are a lot of people who just hate the idea of giving things away for free, whatever it is. I mean, unless it affects them, then they love it.
Yeah.
But when it's, I think that you will get a lot of pushback. Have you gotten that so far? And what is your response when you get it?
It's funny. I have colleagues that have said this is going to be a hard sell, but I also have colleagues that said, hey, can we work with you to put more into it, to build more into it? So I think it's going to be about finding the balance listen, I mean, the need is there, so you can't take that away. And I think the fact that we show that you're not just giving this money to somebody, and not standing behind it on what they can do and build the confidence in their families that finance does. Look, we know that finance and money can't buy happiness, can't buy peace, all of that, all of the cliches. But what it does provide is assurance. And it does provide a level of confidence in your family when you're trying to feed and provide, clothe, house, recreate, whatever you're trying to do for your family. As a parent, I'm a mother, right, of 5. So I know the difference that money, again, outside of the cliches, I know the difference it can make.
It's security.
And I know people are people, right? So there's always people that abuse the system. In your vision, do you see this money coming in the form of a check, meaning they can spend the money any way they want and it's the honor system that it will be in an intended purpose? Or are there safeguards saying this money can only be spent in certain ways?
Absolutely. In a check, spend it the way that they would want to spend it. That's not my I just don't believe personally, and this is my own personal thing, I don't believe that's my position to judge or instruct or tell anybody how they can spend this money, any their family. They have to answer for that, not me, right? The honor system, if that's how what we're gonna call it, I stand behind that. I know the foundation and what we're trying to build and what we're trying to change in our trajectory of our communities with this kind of program and many other programs in Board Bill 116, as a matter of fact. So if somebody misuses it, again, I just have peace in knowing that they have to answer for that, not me.
So this is an idea that's in the early stages. I know you said earlier you'd have it implemented pretty quickly. I mean, what do you think a realistic timeline is if this even works out? What are the challenges moving ahead here?
Yeah. No, well, I don't remember if I said implemented quickly. I shouldn't have said that because
Okay,
I didn't
maybe
mean that.
okay.
Yeah, because I probably spoke to implementation and answering some of the questions.
Sure.
I know because this is not something that's going to be done quickly.
Right.
But
Nothing ever is.
right, right. Yeah, hello, in the city, of course. But I can't. I mean, putting a real timeline on that. We know the timeline is when the money has to be spent, right? But I don't know if there's an implementation piece that would coincide with that date. So I don't want to misspeak on that. I'm not sure about that. I would be more than happy to come back when we pass Board Bill 116 and talk about it though.
In your mind, again, seeing the vision of this program, is there a possibility that the amount of the guaranteed income would be enough to push some people over the threshold for government benefits?
Maybe maybe at the highest here, if we go with because just some of the comparisons have been either 500 floating ideas now, nothing into 500, either a $500 payment or a $1,000 payment. So that's different. But listen, I want to push back on that. I want to challenge that because again, and I'm not just saying with you all in this conversation, I'm saying period. At some point we have to stand behind our families that work every day, right? They work every day and they don't qualify for those thresholds that get them all of this assistance, but they're choking on everything else. I'm one of them. So that is what we have to, if there's a way that I can push the needle on that, I will. And any way I can go around it, we will, so that we can make sure that families that are the most neediest receive this resource.
Shamim Clark Hubbard is the alderwoman for the 26th Ward here in St. Louis. She's in studio with us right now. Aside from this, and when it comes to being able to pay for basic needs, bills, groceries, whatever it is, that tends to be the main challenge for any individual family, regardless of where you live. Some people obviously better off than others. Aside from that, what are the greatest challenges your constituents are telling you about?
Oh, public safety, first and foremost right now. Yeah, keeping their families safe. So, I don't know if we can find a way to loop that in. I would say it like this. When you give somebody this kind of resource in their families and in their households, and it builds not only assurance, but overall wellness, which can then contribute to how you're raising your kids. You don't have the stress on your kids. You don't have the pressure on some of the reality is some of our parents may have pressure on their children to go out and try to provide for the family, the children, and things of that nature. So I think And that might choose them to go down the wrong path and make some wrong decisions on how they're going to make that money and provide for their family and turn to some kind of crime or something like that. There's ways that this can touch a need and be a resource for all of that. But I would say outside of day-to-day survival is right now public safety, which is probably everywhere in the city.
So to that end, obviously with any policy proposal, there's going to be pushback, which is good and healthy for discussion as you vet different ideas. What would you say to someone who says, hey, I agree with you. We need to help those who are hurting, but we need to direct this money right now to public safety or mental wellness programs or other anti-poverty measures?
I would say, great, read the entire Board Bill 116 because there are other parts of Board Bill 116 that fund the Public Safety Department and all kind of FQHCs and the directives and the programs and the buildings and the tangible resources that they're going to bring into the community with the funds that they will also be awarded out of when we pass Board Bill 116. So I would say it's an and thing, right? It's not or. It's not we got to do this or that. Board Bill 116 is the perfect example of and this is a way that we can touch all of these different things and all of these different factors that go into what'll build our communities up.
What is next?
The hearing. So if you know how it works at the board, we have it gets introduced and then you get assigned to a committee. We were assigned to HUDs and our board bill hearing is December the 1st at 9 a.m. I've been on the phone having meetings, countless stakeholders, directors of the FQHCs, directors of the Department of Public Safety and CDA and all the different things that'll be touched out of this legislation. I'm meeting with the comptroller's office, just getting a full understanding because we have to, if we don't get it passed out of the committee, then we stuck there. So that's the next step is the committee hearing.
Will this hearing be in person? Because the Board of Aldermen have been meeting remotely, correct?
We have been meeting remotely, correct, but I'm sure we under some new administration. We're getting ready to go into some new administration, so I'm not sure what the call is going to be on that. If we'll go back in person. I had heard of some hybrids, like we would go in person for our full board meeting, but maybe still Zoom for the hearings. I'm not sure, but we're going to be ready either way, whether we're in person or Zoom.
All right. We appreciate your time today and we wish you the best of luck. And if people have questions, if they want more information, if they want to talk to you about it or talk to somebody about it, how do they get in touch?
Well, if I can give my cell phone number, I really don't mind. I give it out all the time. So
that's up to you. That's it. Hey, that is totally up to you.
I give it out all the time. It's so public. And also I want people to know that the hearing is public and it's open. So you can whether we're on Zoom or in person, you can sign up to speak, hopefully in favor, but I respectfully, if not in favor, at the hearing at 9. And I can send you that link. Just call me 314-393-1393. That's 314-393-1393. That's my personal cell phone number. You can call me on there, or you can also look me up at the board and email me there. I'm open to this. This is definitely going to be, for me, all legislation I work on is always community led, and that's what I want it to be. So I'm open and ready to work with anybody on this.
Shamim Clark Hubbard, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in today.
Being on here. Thank you.
That is Shamim Clark Hubbard, the 26th Ward Alderwoman, with us here in studio on KMOX. It's Amy and Chris. We've got more coming up next on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hey, it's Trish Gazelle for Ophthalmology Associates, the office of Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andy Royer. I went there over 20 years ago for my LASIK procedure. Couldn't be happier 20 years later. They are the doctors, and that's their nickname because they have treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. And Dr. Birdie and Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgery. Call for an appointment today. Doctors Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andy Royer, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. They're located off Manchester Road, 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270 on eastbound Manchester Road. Again, for more information, call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in, less than a week, the whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody could believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Bring your family to the 4th annual Moolah Festival of Trees to experience a winter wonderland with over 40 exquisitely decorated Christmas trees with amazing gift packages November 19th through 26th at the Moolah Shrine. Purchase raffle tickets for just $1 for a chance to take home one or more of these creative and beautifully designed trees, including the gifts, which include toys, tools, sports items, kayaks, barbecue pits, gift cards, and even a complete HVAC system for your home. Tree values range from $500 to over $12,000. The Festival of Trees is an exciting Christmas event for all ages. You can take a souvenir photo with Santa Claus to capture a memory of the spirit of Christmas. And be sure to visit Santa's Cafe for some refreshing treats. Adult admission is $2. Kids 12 and under are free at the Moolah Shrine Center at 12545 Fifi Road. Details at moolah.org.
News, talk, sports. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Shameen was nice.
She was awesome.
She wanted to take selfies with us.
Awesome. A lot of good information, and she's been listening to KMOX for a long time.
And she bothers other people with it, apparently.
Oh, by talking about
Yeah,
KMOX.
she's like, oh, you guys should listen. And her friends are like, come on, what's the matter with you?
I love it. I love it.
Do you think we're entertaining?
I think we're incredibly entertaining. Some would say too entertaining.
You think so?
Yeah, at times.
There are people who say you laugh too much. And
There are
nothing could
people-
possibly be that funny. And my response to that is, oh, have you met me?
Guys, he is really funny, actually. Even though he's a little off-putting when he's on the air, he is really funny
serious.
in real life. And when you say people, you know how generally when the phrase people are saying,
Yeah.
that means that it's nonsense and nobody's
Right.
saying that.
Right.
In this case, people really are saying I laugh too much. We get so many complaints. We used to get so many complaints when I was on with Charlie. People would call the wine line, like, tell that Amy to stop cackling. Nothing's that funny. She's laughing like a hyena. I'm just trying to have my coffee.
What is it that you say?
What do I say?
Oh, about your high pitch thing.
Oh, because I'm shrill? Yeah. No, we laugh. The Mark scores laugh a lot. My family has always laughed a lot. In fact, people would come to our house for dinner and say, wow, you guys are pretty loud and you laugh a lot. And we are. Both of those things are true. So I've been trying to, tone it down so I sound professional, but apparently not enough because that Amy Mark scores. She laughs too much.
I think you laugh an appropriate amount.
Thanks,
and
Ranj.
here's what's endearing about your laughter.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that otherwise you're just a square, and the fact that you have a good sense of humor for the most part, I think it's an upset. It's like a bigger upset than the red wave not coming.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The fact that you have a sense of humor is incredible.
And I'm self-aware. And I was self-aware about being a
You're
dork.
probably too aware.
Yeah, I would say that.
You're one of those people who has you're constantly, and we've talked about this on this show a lot and made fun of you over it.
Yeah.
Where a brief one-off conversation will happen and one little comment is made that means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5, 6, 7 hours or days go by. And then you'll say, remember that day when this happened? I've been thinking about it since. And we're all like, what are you talking about? It's over. That's been over for so long. I've forgotten about it. I know a lot of people listening hang on to something way longer than they should.
Yeah.
And you're one of those folks.
I am. I will overthink things. I have been lying in bed at night, like 3 a.m., thinking about something stupid I said at a party 7 years ago. That's me. I remember everything. And you are the opposite, which I really admire. Although sometimes I think you forget too much too quickly. Like I think something.
Like what? Like
I don't know. Like you will quite literally, if you were to propose an idea for a segment of this show, and we talk about it, and then I bring it back up, you'll be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, this was your idea, and then this is you. Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Oh, that's true. That does happen. Sometimes I live in the moment too much.
You
like the
live in
moment happens and then 2 seconds go by and it's over. It can be a very non-stressful way to go through life, though, to let something go. Now, that doesn't mean I don't dwell on some things because I am one of those people that will lay awake at night and think about something that does not matter, and it will keep me up. That does happen.
Like, would they be like character, moral, something that you were upset with yourself?
Something that I got to deal with, probably.
Yeah.
That's not that big of a deal, but it feels like one. You know,
I was having a conversation because there was a lot of football on yesterday. I don't know if you know that. And I made an offhand comment that I don't know any Bears fans who aren't angry.
Oh, God.
They're so angry all the time.
The angriest bunch.
They are.
Justin Fields is a god, though. He is so great.
Yeah. Well,
I love it. We finally have a quarterback, and I'm really excited about that. When we come back, hey, you ever heard of Alternate Meat?
yeah, I have. I love that band.
Amy's going to tell you about Alternate Meat when we come back on the show.
The time has arrived to introduce a world-class stadium to soccer fans throughout the region.
To the left side of the box, he can pick a pass with the left foot of the byline. Cuts
St.
it back.
Louis
Off the
City 2 host Bundesliga powerhouse Bayer Leverkusen at City Park in an international friendly.
Right foot ball in front. Olstruck, he scores!
History will be made Wednesday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 6, kickoff at 7. And you can hear it exclusively on KMOX and KMOX.com. We were built for this.
KMOX News Time is 11:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, To eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
At 11:30, it's sunny and 40 degrees downtown at the Arch. Authorities say the suspect in the shooting at the University of Virginia that killed 3 members of the football team has been taken into custody. The suspect in the Sunday night shooting, identified as Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. 2 others were wounded in the shooting, which happened on a bus of students who were returning from an off-campus trip. NASA is counting down to this week's planned liftoff of its new moon rocket, although hurricane damage could cause yet another delay. Hurricane Nicole's high winds last Thursday caused a 10-foot section of caulking to peel away near the capsule at the top of the rocket. It's St. Louis Startup Week. KMOX covers innovation. One of the biggest parts of the week is an event called Startup Connection.
40 startups who range completely in the different types of industries they work in, but are going to be there sort of tabling, talking about their company, and a good chance to connect with some of these companies that you might recognize and get to meet the team behind them.
Organizer Christopher Holt. You can hear more on our Innovation Show podcast, Nothing Impossible, and later this half hour, live on the show on KMOX. And traffic? We've got a stalled vehicle 370 going east past Elm. That's on the right shoulder. Stall 6440 west past McKnight. That's also on the right shoulder. And the forecast, sunny and chilly this afternoon with the high of 45 degrees. Clouds move in this evening with some snow tonight. Could be mixed with rain at the start. Later this evening, continuing overnight, the low tonight near freezing. Total accumulation could be 1 to 3 inches. Tomorrow's high 42 degrees. Right now it's sunny and 40 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Well, the past couple of years have been tough for everybody, especially for business owners. But if your business has 5 or more employees and you managed to survive the COVID years, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited amount of time, so you don't want to wait. Go ahead and check it out today. Hey, if you've got your computer in front of you, you can do this right now. It's getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. What's great about this is businesses of all types can qualify. So even if you think, I took PPP, it's a nonprofit, I saw an increase in sales, I probably won't qualify, you still might qualify. To find out if your business does, just go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me, and then answer a few questions. That's getrefunds.com. And remember, it's only available for a limited amount of time, so you don't want to wait too long. Go to getrefunds.com.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Tuesday night, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they take on Memphis. Pre-game 7:47, tip at 8 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
Welcome back to the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores here with you. All right, Chris.
What?
Alternative meat. Not a band.
Oh, yeah, you were going to tell me about the alternative meat.
Yeah, not a band. It's all these plant-based meat tasting products, these plant-based meat, like the Impossible Burger and all of that. Did you ever get into it?
You know what? I tried I think it's Lion's Choice.
Mm-hmm.
That was in here. They brought it into the studio. I don't know. Somebody got it and brought it in about a month ago, and I think they have a meatball sub.
Uh-huh.
That's Impossible Meat. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I think it was Lion's Choice. I can't remember. But
Well,
anyway, it was good.
When it first burst onto the scene, everybody was talking about, this meat alternative, these plant-based products would be the future of how we consume quote unquote meat, right? It's greener, it's healthier, it's better for you. I have to, in full transparency, I've never eaten or wanted the plant-based meat alternatives. I just don't like highly processed food. I don't like all the chemicals. It just makes me feel gross. And somehow it feels less healthy. This is me personally speaking, to eat like an Impossible Burger than it would be to just eat a chicken breast or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Beyond Meat, which is a Los Angeles-based plant-based burger nugget company, they saw their stock prices plunge nearly 80% from its peak. And last month, they announced that they would lay off almost 20% of its workforce. The same thing with the other plant-based meat alternative companies. They're cutting back. They're seeing stock prices drop. They're closing facilities, that are 100, 200,000 square feet, and they're just closing down those facilities because the demand isn't there. And here's my takeaway from this. Whenever something is touted as the next big thing, I'm very suspicious. It's really hard to get consumers to change their ways. And I have Kevin Wheeler in the back of my head yelling at me about well, they said that about cars and horses. Oh, Amy, have you ever heard of horses? Everybody rode horses. I just hear him yelling, cars, Amy, airplane, ever ridden in an airplane? Horses. You hear it, right?
Yeah.
I can just hear him yelling at me. People in every generation say this. Okay. And I get that. But my focus is less on technological advances like cars, which have, for the most part, replaced horses. I think it's safe to say. Although we still use horsepower to tell us how fast the cars are.
Well, that'll be forever.
Yeah. But when it's not just technology like phones, right? Phones have changed things, computers, cars. You take that out of it. But when it comes to cultural mores and cultural habits, I do think it's very, very difficult to shift the entire cultural current of a nation. And you may be thinking, well, what's the difference between alternative meat and cars? I would say eating alternative meat instead of meat is less like going from horses to cars, and it's more like trying to convince American society to wear masks. We're just, in general, not a society that will wear masks all the time. In Asia, in a lot of Asian countries like China or Korea, it's quite common, even before COVID, to wear a mask. It's just you could wear a mask. It was safety. It was accepted. In a lot of the more Western countries like Western Europe, the United States, Canada, people just don't wear masks. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just a cultural thing.
We all of us don't like being told what to do, even if it's for our greater good, because the first instinct is to assume that it's not for our greater good. That's not really the goal. The goal is to just, quote, control us.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that mask stuff was for so long, that year and a half that we were really masking up and doing it, maybe closer to 2 years, I guess. No, I guess it was about a year and a half, right? We spent all that time and people did it and people begrudgingly did it. And some of them fought airline attendants because they didn't want to put a mask on. They would say, and you hear this from a lot of people. I got a buddy who's he's nuts now. He's gone off the rails in the last 4 or 5 years. And he used to write things on social media and then hashtag it free the face.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? It's not, because you have to think they are assuming that they're being controlled, that there's this greater entity, this nebulous organization, this entity, whatever it is, that's trying to make you do something. But my question is, to what end? What is the purpose of a government or this shadow organization that's trying to make you wear a mask? For what? Control you to do that, and then what?
Right.
Like, what's the point?
I think there's this.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's this general feeling that there's something inherently abhorrent about submission, and that if you start
any
following
kind
the
of
herd,
submission, yes.
then you're going to lose your independence. And we've got to remember, culturally, and again, I'm not trying to get too deep here. I'm not talking about technology like phones, but culturally, Americans are, to a point, pathologically like independent, right? Think of all the people who came here stemming back to the very first settlers. They were all betrayed by governments, right? Even a lot of the immigrants into the 19th and 20th century were deeply betrayed or persecuted by governments. So there's this cultural distrust, I think, for Americans
there's no
to
question.
the government.
Yeah.
And so some of that independence, that, the Lone Ranger, the cowboy riding off into the sunset, all of this rebellious attitude, for better or for worse, that's deep in American culture. And again, I think it can be great. I think it's in a lot of ways has pushed our country to so much innovation, so much advance. And in some ways, it's what makes us a great country. And in other ways, sometimes it's to our detriment. But we are pathologically that independent. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tread on me.
Don't tread on me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so this cultural shift, there's something about eating meat in this country is just so deeply ingrained that you can try to say, yeah, I'll eat this processed meat, but it just felt like a fad.
Well, those sorts of things, we will push back against them until it becomes a thing that we absolutely cannot ignore it, and we are forced to have to reconcile with it. Because the estimations are that, going back to the meat thing, that 14.5% of all the global greenhouse emissions come from cattle, which is a pretty significant amount. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other things that are a bigger deal, but that's part of a problem too. And we may be past the point of doing anything about it, but there could be a time, I suppose, 40, 50, 60 years from now, where we don't have a choice but to go to Beyond Meat and to meat substitutes.
And like I said, just speaking for myself, I don't like meat substitutes. I don't eat soy. I don't feel like that's healthy for me. I know that processed food they can claim that it's sugar-free or fat-free, but it's still processed, and it's harder for, at least for my body, to digest it. Here's what's interesting. The global consumption of meat has more than doubled since 1990. Doubled the global consumption of meat. So why then are these meat substitutes just not taking off? The Washington Post looks at some of the reasons. One is price. It can be pretty pricey to have the Impossible Burger. Also, they call it fuzzy health benefits, like Tofurkey and those types of burgers. They're made with soy, like soy patties, and they were made for people who don't eat meat. But it's not necessarily the
better
best
for you.
Yes,
right.
It's not necessarily better for you, especially if it's high in sodium or any type of preservatives. They also look at restaurants not buying in. A lot of restaurants aren't carrying it, a lack of versatility, and so forth. I don't see us ever shifting to a majority plant-based meat alternative product. I just think we're going to eat meat.
It'll again, the only way that's ever going to happen is if we don't have a choice. And I don't know what that would look like. All the cattle die. I don't know. I don't think there's ever a possibility of getting to that either. They're just like, I don't think, especially in our lifetimes, we're never going to get to a place where people don't want to drive.
Right.
But I mean, there are some younger people who never learned to, but cars are always going to be a thing, whether they self-drive or people are driving them. It's always some kind of vehicle, individual vehicle where you can get in it and take off and go wherever you want to go. That's always going to be a thing.
But I think that's why the U.S. is so different. We're not Germany. We're not Sweden. The country is so big, and every state has a different vibe and a different culture. And even within each state, you're going to have all of these cities where maybe if you live in Chicago, you live in New York. I have friends who live in New York who obviously do not have cars, who use public transportation and love it. If you live in Kansas, that's not an option. It's not that you're refusing to use the train or to use the L. It's just not there. And the United States is just so big. We're so spread out that it's not only not culturally a thing to say, yeah, I'm going to get rid of my car and use only public transportation. It's just not practical.
314-436-7900 is the number to text the show if you want to. We'd like to hear from you throughout the morning and the afternoon. Amy Marks, Kors, Chris Ranji with you. Coming up next, Chris Holt is the executive director of STL Startup Week. Coming up next here on the show.
Are you the type of person who loves their community and wants it to be the best it can be? Now it's easier than ever to do your part. Go to recyclemode.com to see just how easy it is to recycle the right way. Or if you already recycle and want to be as efficient as possible, recyclemode.com can tell you what should and should not be recycled in your area. Become part of the clean recycling movement today. It's the right thing to do. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Have you ever gone to the grocery store hungry? Big mistake. Next thing you know, you're in the kitchen unloading all this stuff you didn't need, saying, what did I do? It's kind of like someone going into retirement without a plan. Steve All at the All Financial Group is here to help. He offers a complimentary retirement review. So instead of saying, what did I do? You can say, here's what I'm doing. Call 636-230-8824 and get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Get ready for a one-of-a-kind audio-visual experience. Timeless and everlasting. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more, live in concert, 3 p.m. Saturday, December 10th at Enterprise Center. Don't miss this holiday tradition. $1 of each ticket sold to the 3 p.m. show will go to SSM Health Cardinal Glennon. Get full ticket and show details on the events page at KMOX.com.
The holidays are upon us. Call Zero Res now before the rush. Get 3 rooms Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and get a free room of fiber protectant for an $80 savings plus $50 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hello, my name is Chad with ClaymanGroup.com. I have another happy client of ours that just sold their house as is.
Hi, I'm Chris. I called the real estate agent and they gave me a list of 75 things to prepare my house for sale. I called the Clayman Group and spoke to Chad and his team, and they bought my house as is. I didn't have to do anything at all.
If you want a simple solution to your real estate needs as well, reach out today. Clayman, KLAMEN Group.com. KLAMEN Group.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Furnish hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicide, mental health, or substance use crisis, call, text, or chat 988. There is hope. The Lifeline works. 988 for 24/7 confidential support. A message from the Missouri Department of Mental Health.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Amy, Chris, and Kevin.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
It is the show sans Kevin today. He's in for Dave Glover this afternoon. Amy and Chris are with you until 2 o'clock. It is STL Startup Week. It starts today. It goes for the rest of the week, or at least for the next few days. And we are joined now by the executive director of it. Chris Holt is joining us this morning on KMOX. Hello, Chris. Thanks for hanging out.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we are excited about this week, and St. Louis being a pretty big startup community, and it has been for the last several years. Tell us right off the top about STL Startup Week.
Yeah, so this is the 4th year of STL Startup Week. We are, the original goal of it was just to kind of gather and celebrate a lot of the cool things that have been happening here in the region. The startup space is somewhere that has really seen some good success and growth over the past few years. So the goal of the week is really just to bring out a bunch of different speakers. We have about 30 speakers this year who are hosting everything from panels to presentations and to workshops, and they're all kind of speaking from experience and expertise that they have. And it ranges from people who are, longtime entrepreneurs to some early or stage entrepreneurs who are maybe discussing challenges and struggles that they've had in learning to start a business. And the main benefit of this is just bringing everybody in a room together where, if you don't know how to start or where to start, this is a good place to do that.
And so all of the programming this week will take place at 5 co-working spaces across the city of St. Louis and including Illinois: Fairview Heights, Central West End, downtown, University City. And these programs are open for the general public to attend some of these seminars. Do they have to buy tickets?
Yep. So just registering online. And if you don't register, that's totally fine. We can get you in when you get here. But everything is open to the public and totally free. There's also one of the really exciting pieces of the program we have is actually on Thursday. We are doing a takeover of Venture Cafe, which for those that don't know is a weekly gathering in Cortex that is sort of geared towards entrepreneurship and innovation. And we're going to have about 40 startups as a showcase there. So there's a lot of different people that might be hiring or founders there that you can talk to and kind of ask questions of.
And
that will be one of our bigger events.
Okay. And those sessions, are they during like the 9 to 5 hours, or are they in the evening?
Most of the talks are during the 9 to 5 hours. And actually, one of the cool things we're doing this year is we're actually recording all the talks. So we will have those to live on. So even if you do not make something, there's still going to be an opportunity to see it later. We want to make sure that all this information is available to everyone possible. But then in the evening, there's a bunch of networking events as well, including happy hours, the showcases in the evening, and the closing parties also in the evening. So those are opportunities, even if you're, busy 9 to 5, like many of us are, you can still come and join us for those after work.
And you're having these events all over the place. It's not just at, Cortex. It's not just downtown. You're going to be in other areas too.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned before, we do have a co-working space in Fairview Heights that we're going to be in as well. We're in University City today, actually at Tech Artista, which is the co-working space that I am the founder of. And so we ended up we have 5 kind of core locations throughout the day because we really wanted, coming out of the pandemic, to really get back to gathering in person. So even if you're, you need to work on your laptop throughout the day, you can certainly come out here. There are places to go tuck away and work at all the locations that we're going to be during the days, just so that people can really get together and gather.
This might seem like a random question. I'm sure it's not the key target audience here, but if you're a high school student who's interested in entrepreneurship, who has seen, these tech startups, a lot of young people are involved in these tech startups, maybe even in college. Is this something that a high school student or college student could go to?
Absolutely. There's no limit on. You're never too young to get started. If you are interested in doing your own thing. We actually also do have an event this week that is specifically run by Parkway School Districts, which is the Battle of the Saints, which is a high school pitch competition. which there's a little information on that, but there is an actual prize award. If you go on our website, you can look at that. And then beyond that, there are just, great talks that if any of these things are interesting to anyone of any age range, we would encourage them to come out and join us.
Over the last several years, St. Louis has been quietly considered one of the fastest growing startup markets in the country. How are things going in that regard compared to the rest of the country?
Yeah, it's certainly a place that has seen some really positive change. I mean, even just through the pandemic, which as a co-working space owner now for 9 years, we have things were certainly a little slow during the actual pandemic, but now we're actually seeing a huge surge of people coming back from the coast and bringing some of their ideas with them, continuing to work remotely for a little while, and then ultimately many of them starting their own thing when they're here. So there is a lot going on here. Of course, there are huge industries in like the biosciences and plant sciences as well. But I think especially in the tech space, we're seeing a growth with the rise of remote work, and that's one of the best things about St. Louis. It's an extremely affordable place where you can have a really good lifestyle for a reasonable amount of money. And if you can work from anywhere, it makes things a lot easier.
All right, Chris, if people want information on the events for this week, where do they go?
So you can catch everything on our website at stlewisstartupweek.com. There's a schedule on there where you can register for any and all events. And we'd love to have everyone come out and see what's going on in the community.
Chris, appreciate your time today. Best of luck this week and enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Take care.
That is Chris Holt, Executive Director of STL Startup Week. And again, the website is stlewisstartupweek.com. That's stlewisstartupweek.com. You can find out about everything that's happening. Coming up next, it's the recap. No, actually, we're going to get an update on what happened in Virginia today on the show with Amy and Chris.
Walking through the streets of Soho in the rain.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You've probably heard I've been a patient at Ophthalmology Associates for more than 25 years and getting excellent eye care from the doctor's doctors. But things have changed in the last quarter century. Today, the doctors can prescribe eye drops that'll replace your reading glasses. These eye drops allow you to look at things up close without using your reading glasses. There are other new exciting developments in treatment of the eye. You can learn more at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com. From glasses, LASIK, or cataract surgery, and anything related to eye care, doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer are among the best. And if cataracts are a problem, these doctors use the most advanced multifocal lenses to minimize the need for glasses after surgery. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com.
KMOX, KEZK, HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's cloudy and 41 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, CBS's Jim Krasula has the latest on the deadly East Coast college campus shooting.
22-year-old former University of Virginia football player Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. has been arrested. He's accused of fatally shooting 3 UVA football players and wounding 2 others, one critically, Sunday night. School president Jim Ryan.
Upon arrival at the scene, university police encountered several victims of gunshot wounds. The shootings occurred on a bus full of students returning from a field trip.
School leaders say the shooting suspect had not played on the UVA football team for several years. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
Families still have unanswered questions about radioactive contamination at a Florissant elementary school.
We currently don't stand any closer to understanding exactly what contamination is at Jana Elementary.
Ashley Burnaugh, president of the PTA, speaking on KMOX's The Show. Private testing revealed radioactive contamination at the school, yet follow-up by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers concluded that the school is safe.
I think we've all fallen for that once or twice before in our lives, and we certainly don't plan to fall for it on a grand scale when over 400 students' lives and teachers are at risk.
The agency plans to meet with the public this Wednesday. Families are questioning the Corps of Engineers' assertion that radiation only exists at acceptable and natural background levels. Arrests made in a department store heist.
Kohl's in Fenton was hit on Saturday. Police found $22,000 worth of items in the hands of 4 women who live in Texas. $12,000 of the theft alone was from the Sephora section at Kohl's. St. Louis County Police aren't saying just how they went about making the theft. Each woman, though, has a $75,000 cash-only bond. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
President Biden spent more than 3 hours meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping today on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia. CBS News White House correspondent Stephen Portnoy is there.
Aides say the president raised objections to China's increasingly aggressive posture toward Taiwan. But at a news conference after the 3-hour meeting, Mr. Biden said he did not see an imminent Chinese attempt to invade the island. As analysts see U.S.-China relations at a 50-year low, the president said he senses there are areas where Xi Jinping will be willing to compromise.
A huge weekend at the box office.
It was an amazing opening weekend for Wakanda Forever.
His people did not call him General or King. They called him Kukulkan.
The highly anticipated Disney and Marvel Studios film not only topped the box office, raking in $180 million, but also smashed the record for the biggest opener in the month of November. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk. STL Startup Week is back, and the goal this time is face-to-face interaction.
There's definitely been a shift away from this since the pandemic. And one of the big goals of the programming for this year was actually that we wanted to really focus on bringing things back in person.
Organizer Chris Holt says more than 40 startups will take part in one of the biggest events, Startup Connection, and programming is taking place at sites from Fairview Heights to University City. The Dow from Stifel's up 116 points to 33,864. And we've got a crash on 141 going north past Springdale. The right lane is closed. A stall 370 east past Elm. That's on the right shoulder. Stall 6440 west past McKnight. That's on the right shoulder.
Quite chilly this afternoon with some sun up to 45. It clouds up. Snow moves in. Maybe a little rain at the mix-in at the start. But then snow tomorrow morning, tapering off 1 to 3 inches. Low 40s tomorrow afternoon. Then slick spots, upper 20s. Tomorrow night. I'm Matt Cube with the meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got some sun. It's 41 in Florissant, 42 in St. Peters, and blue sky, 41 degrees downtown at the Arch now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
It is the show on KMOX. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji are in today. Kevin Wheeler is going to be back. He's going to be with the afternoon show today. Dave Glover is out, so Kevin is going to be with him. And we appreciate you being with us today. We also appreciate our next guest being with us on what has turned into a pretty tragic day in Virginia. Matt Demline is the news director at WRVA, and he joins us this afternoon on KMOX. Matt, thanks for being with us on such a day.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a crazy morning, actually night into morning here in Virginia. We're located in Richmond, which is about 2 hours from UVA, but we do have a reporter up there. And UVA, to give you an equivalent, we're about the same distance from St. Louis to Mizzou as Richmond is to Charlottesville at the UVA campus.
And so, Matt, I know you are a Mizzou grad, so you're familiar with this area. But let's talk about what happened. What we know is that overnight there was a shooting. The suspect was at large for a while, and we know that 3 football players for the Virginia football team have all been killed.
That is correct. And the suspect is a former UVA football walk-on, played in 2018, or at least was on the team in 2018. And actually, we're just now getting news that he was actually arrested just outside of Richmond, closer here, about maybe 20 minutes from where I sit at our radio station. He was local to our area, but had gone up to UVA to play football and then to go to school after he no longer played football.
And according to officials, what happened around 10:30 last night, gunfire was reported at a parking garage, which at the northern end of the campus of UVA. And it was a bus full of students who were back from a class trip to see a play in Washington, D.C. And 3 football players were shot and killed, and 2 others were injured. Do we know exactly how that played out, if the suspect was on the bus or it was after the students had gotten off the bus, and how that played out?
We know that the students were shot on the bus. It is not clear, at least from nothing that I have heard as of yet, as to whether or not the suspect, Christopher Jones, was on the bus with them for the field trip, or if this occurred as they were, if he got on the bus as they were stopping. That is still, sort of fog of war type deal thing. That really hasn't been revealed as of yet, where they've given exact time by time details as to what happened there, or even what the motive was behind all of this.
And you did mention that he is a suspect, or the suspect is a student at UVA, was a former football player, was no longer on the team. And we obviously know his identity. Have authorities found anything either on his person, on his social media accounts, that would hint that he was planning something like this?
No, I will say that he had come to the attention of their threat assessment team. Someone had reported that he had a gun on campus. They tried to speak with him. They tried to speak with his roommate. The roommate said he didn't see a gun on campus. He had also previously come to the attention of the threat assessment team for a hazing incident. They didn't really have the resolution of that as of yet. They had found out that there was some off-campus related criminal charges brought against him, and that may have involved a weapon as well, but they're still working through that. So they didn't necessarily, that's where they the information that they have on him. I do not know if he was armed when he was arrested. I did speak to our local police department here that arrested him, and they had very limited details other than they had taken him into custody.
So we know they were all members of the football team. The 3 victims were on the team currently. The suspect had been back in 2018, so it probably stands to reason he knew them or knew of them. Do we know if those 3 people were specifically targeted?
Oh, we do not. They really have not given anything in regards to a motive. I mean, I think you can, I think a lot of people are speculating, and probably rightfully so, that they were targeted, but there is nothing that has come out as of yet. They have not provided any motive. And we also do not know the identity of the 2 people that were injured. We've heard things speculated, but nothing that we can confirm at this point.
And the university was on lockdown throughout the night while authorities were looking for the suspect, but that lockdown has since been lifted at UVA since the suspect has been in custody.
Yes, and I was speaking just a few minutes ago with our reporter that we sent up to the UVA campus, and he said, I mean, the activity on campus compared to what you would see on a normal Monday, a week before Thanksgiving, is night and day. There's a few people out, but not a whole lot. Nobody is willing to talk. Obviously, everyone is very rattled. It is definitely not a normal day in Charlottesville.
Yeah, and this is all happening. Charlottesville has had its own tragedy in recent years, with the protests and then the driver plowing through the crowd. And then, just a couple of hours down the road was Virginia Tech and the shooting that happened there years ago on the college campus. And I'm sure people in the state are, they're sensitive to it because something terrible happened years ago, and Charlottesville has had quite a bit going on in the last couple of years.
Right, and not to get too deep in the weeds, we had in the last decade and a half, we've had 2 girls who disappeared off campus and were later found killed. UVA has seen more than its share of tragedy, and again, you mentioned Virginia Tech. Not to get too much off topic, but, there was supposed to be a UVA basketball game tonight. That's been canceled. And one of UVA's remaining football games, which, again, I would be shocked if the football season continues, is against Virginia Tech. I think that Virginia Tech is going to be extremely sensitive to what has now just occurred on the UVA campus.
Yeah, we had a shooting at a high school just down the street from this studio a couple of weeks ago, and it shocks a community and it stops the community in a lot of ways. Everybody is focused on that event, keeping families safe, keeping kids safe. I imagine that UVA is implementing now resources for students who might want to talk to a therapist or a counselor after something like this happens.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, I am a Mizzou grad. I paid actually a lot of close attention to the incident that occurred a couple of weeks ago because I've been to St. Louis a number of times. Obviously, you guys have gone through very similar things to what Charlottesville and what we're facing here right now.
What is it's tragedy, and it feels like, everybody there has been through quite a bit, over the years, as we just discussed. What is the mood? What's the mood like with people knowing this happened? And where you are is just, again, it's a couple of hours down the road from where this actually occurred. But, it's a state school and people all over care about the state schools.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there isn't a person who doesn't know a person at UVA, and it was the same with Virginia Tech. It'd be like if something happened at Mizzou. I mean, everyone at St. Louis knows somebody, at Mizzou or at Illinois. It hits close to home. My daughter is in college right now. She's not at UVA, but one of her friends from school went to UVA and is at UVA right now as a first year at UVA. So we all know somebody. Obviously, you hate to see this sort of thing repeated, unfortunately, again and again and again.
When, Matt, do you expect another update from authorities?
I don't know at this point. I imagine, just given past precedent, that we might get another news conference later today, maybe in the afternoon. But since they now have him in custody, that would have been the next logical step. But since they sort of announced him being arrested during the initial news conference, it may take a little bit of time before we get another news conference. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But I think the story is very well going to change from, the incident to, hey, the threat assessment teams knew about him. Why wasn't there more done? Should there have been more done? Things along that line. We're going to see a lot of, I don't want to say Monday morning quarterbacking, but a lot of looking at the situation and what may have been missed.
The exact same thing that's been going on here for a couple of weeks since the shooting down the road at the high school. So, and it's the right conversation to have. It is absolutely. Yeah, it is. Like, why did this happen? Could it have been prevented? Why aren't we doing more?
Yeah, I covered Virginia Tech here when it happened in 2007, and that ended up being a story for another year and a half. It's very likely something similar will happen here.
Matt, we appreciate your time. It's good to talk to a Mizzou grad. Sorry it's under these circumstances, so hopefully we will visit again down the road.
Absolutely, hopefully in better circumstances. I appreciate it.
Matt Demline is the news director at WRVA in Virginia. And so a tragedy. 3 football players on the Virginia team have been murdered by a guy who had been on the football team a few years ago as a walk-on. Don't believe he played in any games, but he was on the team. It seems likely he knew these players. It seems likely, though we don't know for sure, that it was targeted, but these appear to be people that he knew or probably knew. And of course, we'll get the details when they come out. So another tragedy happening in this country. And it just seems like it shouldn't happen at the frequency it does.
Yeah, it does. It seems to be escalating, and I think we're going to have to continue to have these conversations. Obviously, we don't know any of the circumstances surrounding the suspect, the shooting, how he got the weapon, any of that is yet to come out. But again, right now, all of our thoughts are with the families of the victims and the entire UVA community.
And Virginia's been through quite a lot in the last several years. Amy Marks Core's Chris Ranji. Kevin Wheeler is on the Dave Glover Show this afternoon, but we've got more for you next on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
It can be overwhelming just with the news, and a lot of the headlines are sad, and it can feel like, man, how can I help people in this time? And the Salvation Army really is a great resource to get involved, to help the community, to be a positive impact, an impact for good when it seems like, okay, there's a lot of hurt and loss in the community. Well, I'm so excited to work with the Salvation Army again this holiday season. We talked about the economic times have been such a challenge getting through the COVID years, inflation. A lot of families are really struggling. And when you're struggling to buy the basic necessities, food, medical, pay your house, your mortgage, your rent, whatever it may be, other things fall by the wayside, such as Christmas presents. There are a lot of kids in the St. Louis area whose families can't afford to buy Christmas gifts this year. But to be a hope and help for young kids in the area, that even though times are hard, they can still have that special moment on Christmas morning, I invite you to join me in the Salvation Army with the Angel Tree program. Last year alone, the Greater St. Louis Salvation Army Angel Tree program helped over 4,000 children, help provide gifts for them, and they might not otherwise have had a gift to open on Christmas morning. Angel trees are in shopping malls, they're at corporations, they're churches or organizations, they're physical Christmas trees, there's ornaments on the trees. You pick an ornament, there's a list of there's a child and then a list of all that child's Christmas wishes and needs, and you go shopping for that child, and then you can make Christmas come true for them. Or you can go online at salarmymidland.org and simply click on Adopt an Angel, and then you'll be provided with a child in need plus that child's Christmas wants and needs, and you can go shopping for that child, and the Salvation Army will make sure that that specific angel gets the gifts that you bought for him or her. Again, to help out, go to salarmymidland.org.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
The pain was so bad, it felt like I was walking on knife blades. It took my life away. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet. I took about 4 steps to start to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know, whether you're young or old, these are life-changing. I've tried the rest. The best is Good Feet. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Let's go to the ballpark. We're going to Monster Jams. We're going camping. My attitude's changed. I'm a happier man. I'm like a regular dad now. The kids have seen that change and that confidence in dad, and they like the new dad.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Caddy Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Carol Daniel for the Doctor's Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Take a look around you, your wife, or the highway right in front of you. We use our eyes to take in the world around us, but if you have a disease of the eye like glaucoma or itchy eye, or like my husband, you suffer from dry eye, seeing the world around you is a little more difficult. Dry eye can impact your vision at night. It can cause burning of the eye. Call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000 to set up your appointment today. I was so glad to go see the Doctor's Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road. What a friendly staff and a thorough exam by Dr. Greg Birdie. There's a reason they're called the Doctor's Doctors, because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer, experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000 or learn more online at youridoc.com.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
Usually at noon is when we recap what's been happening on the show, but we did have our guest from Virginia, Matt Demline, a moment ago, who updated us on what is happening there with the shooting early this morning. And so we continue with you. We appreciate you being with us, 314-436-7900. If you want to text the show, and of course, you can always leave us a voicemail at 944-1120. We started off the show talking about the midterms and how things went over the weekend. The Senate will be in Democratic control. It's just a matter of whether or not it's 50 or 51 seats in the Senate the Democrats hold. They are likely going to lose the House. There is still a mathematical possibility they end up with the majority or maintaining the majority. But regardless of what happens, the margin is going to be very close one way or the other.
If they lose the House, it might be by 2 seats. And
if they win the House, it'll be by like 1,
Right.
So either way, it's going to be a half and half House of Representatives.
Which people were projecting, at times, a huge victory for Republicans in the House of Representatives. So the fact that it's been dwindled to simply perhaps 1 or 2 seats is really astounding. Also, we're keeping an eye on the Arizona governor's race between Katie Hobbs, who is the Democratic candidate, and Carrie Lake, her Republican opponent. Carrie Lake, definitely very splashy with her campaign trail. She had promised to fight the election if
Yeah.
she lost because it would have been a fraudulent election. But so far, she is behind Katie Hobbs.
And here's the problem that she's facing if she wants to challenge this and pull the election was stolen, they cheated thing. She'll be the only one doing it.
Yeah.
She's not going to have Adam Laxalt, who is the the projected loser in Nevada for the Senate race there. And he kind of alluded to the fact there are going to be challenges. He's going to take it to court or whatever. But he's also opening the possibility that he could lose. He's at least basically said, this may go against me. And I'm paraphrasing here. So if she loses and if she challenges it and cries cheating, she's the only one doing it. No, all of the others in all the major races, all the election deniers, they've all conceded.
And I
I
think-
don't know how she can stand on that island alone.
Yeah, and I think this is a good sign for the Republican Party. Sure, it wasn't the red wave, but that red wave, had it happened, would have been pushed to a surge point by election deniers. That's not a good direction for the country to go. Saying that elections have no integrity, that they're fraudulent, or they're fraudulent if you lose, it's fundamentally incompatible with democracy. It just doesn't work in our framework. And again, the elections are run by the states. You have secretaries of state who are Republican who have said, we have looked into these elections. They are fair. They went off as planned. Again, what's interesting that you brought up with Major Garrett last week, Ranj, is as these votes are continued to be counted, right now, Kari Lake is hoping that these ballots that are being counted over the next few days swing in her favor. Now, a whole batch came in, almost 100,000 almost
It was
yesterday.
97,000.
And they did not favor her
They
as much
closed
as
the
they
gap,
were
but
projected.
not as much.
Right.
Yeah.
But imagine if she had been in the lead, she might be complaining about these late counted ballots.
No, I know for a fact she would be.
So
that's
it's
that's
a double
clear.
standard. Yeah. And again, I quoted one of my favorites earlier this morning, Ranj, because we talk so much about dehumanizing the other side. And when you look at the person across the aisle and see that person as fundamentally evil or as an existential threat to your way of living and your set of values, then you are no longer trying to win them over or persuade them. You just want to defeat them. And what's interesting is the catastrophization of our politics has escalated over the past couple of decades. Democrats were upset about their devastating loss in 2000 and then again in 2004 when George W. Bush was reelected. Then you had Obama in 2008 and in 2012, and Republicans lost their minds. And you had Trump in 2016. And throughout those elections, it was as if the rhetoric about the doomsday narrative increased. Somehow, even though the presidential elections have swung back and forth, you have George H.W. Bush, you have Bill Clinton, you have George W., you have Obama, you have Trump. It's swung back and forth. How has every single one of those things been a catastrophe?
The election process is way too complicated for it to be stolen. The amount of conspiracy that would have to happen is undoable. It isn't realistic to expect and to be able to steal an election the way things are set up here in this country, at least as of right now. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, the news coming up on the show.
The time has arrived to introduce a world-class stadium to soccer fans throughout the region.
To the left side of the box, he can pick a pass with the left foot of the byline.
St. Louis City 2 host Bundesliga powerhouse Bayer Leverkusen at City Park in an international friendly.
Right foot ball in front. Olstruck, he scores!
History will be made Wednesday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 6, kickoff at 7. And you can hear it exclusively on KMOX and KMOX.com. We were built for this.
KMOX News Time is 12:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold, and that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home, she'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
At 12:30, it's sunny and 41 degrees downtown at the Arch. Police in Charlottesville, Virginia, have made an arrest in last night's deadly shooting on the University of Virginia campus. They say the suspect is a former football player who attacked a bus of students returning from an off-campus trip. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge has more.
He was known. He was on the radar of university authorities and their police force here as part of what they call the threat assessment team, and that there was an incident in September of this year where it was reported that the suspect discussed possessing a weapon. They said they followed that lead. They ran it down. They couldn't seem to speak to anyone who had actually seen the weapon.
This just in, the UN General Assembly is calling for Russia to be held accountable for invading Ukraine, including by paying reparations to Ukraine. It'll feel like the last time, as rock band Foreigner says they'll make a stop in St. Louis during their farewell tour. Loverboy will be the opening act. The concert at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 19th, and tickets go on sale Friday. Vehicle fire 270 north at 44. The two right lanes are closed. A stalled vehicle 70 west past the airport. That's on the right shoulder. And the forecast, sunny but chilly this afternoon with a high of 45 degrees. Tonight, cloudy with some snow. Could be mixed with rain at the start. It continues overnight, and a low is going to be near freezing. Snow continues tomorrow morning. Total accumulation 1 to 3 inches. And then cloudy and chilly tomorrow afternoon with a high of 42 degrees. That's where we are now, 42. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop. The threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Thursday Night Football as the Titans take on the Packers. Catch the game here. Kickoff at 7. The Titans, the Packers. Football on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
The voice is a little louder or a little stronger. You know, when you're the assistant, you want to support and kind of move through the organization or the team the way like it's in this case here is Jeff was trying to lead. And I think everybody that takes into a leadership role has their own niche about what they do things or how they would do things, and doesn't make it right or wrong, but it makes it intentional what you believe to be true to move the needle forward. So in that sense, for me, that's I have a few ideas that I'd like to do myself.
That is the new hitting coach for the Cardinals, Turner Ward, who is going to be on Sports Open Line tonight, a conversation that our next guest, Matt Pauley, had with Turner. So you'll get to hear that tonight at 6:20. And we are joined now on the show by KMOX sports dude, Matt Pauley, with us now. What's up, Matt?
Not much. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. And so we're going to hear this interview tonight. And you heard a little bit of it right there. So what can we expect? What can we expect overall to hear from Turner Ward, the Cardinals' new hitting coach?
Yeah, so the most interesting thing that I thought he said, and then I think Cardinals fans will be most interested in, I asked him like straight up the question, look, when hitting is not going well, fans want the hitting coach fired. What's your response to that? And he said when he was a player, he never once went into a funk because of a hitting coach, but at the same time, he realizes what his job is, and he realizes that when things are going well, the hitters get the credit, and when things are not going well, the hitting coach takes the blame, and he will embrace that. And I think that's notable because when we found out that Jeff Albert was leaving, John Mozeliak did not try to hide the fact that it was somewhat connected to the criticism that he was receiving in his job.
Matt, a couple of things here. I mean, number one, I need you to buckle your seatbelt.
Buckle up.
Yeah. So
for the record, my wife is driving, not me. So I'm being chauffeured around by my wife right now.
Okay. Well, you still need to buckle your seatbelt.
Oh, I'm buckled. I'm all good.
Well, then she needs to buckle it because the beeping is happening. That's number one. Number two, sometimes being a part of a Major League Baseball team would be awesome in any capacity, but sometimes I wonder if hitting coaches like punishment. They must, because to be a hitting coach at the Major League level, there is no praise that you ever get, but you will always get the criticism.
And I say this in as respectful tone as I can towards baseball fans. I don't think they understand the job of a hitting coach for the most part. And I think it is a lazy narrative when fans want a hitting coach fired. Like every hitting coach in Major League Baseball is there for a reason, and they're good at their job generally. I'm not saying that it never happens, that there's a guy that's just not a good fit with the team, good fit with the organization, but 99% of the time, the hitting coach is doing their job.
Okay, so Matt, if a lot of baseball fans misunderstand the job of the hitting coach, what is that misperception and what is the reality, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that go on with the modern hitting coach. There is the, functional, mechanical type part of the job, which is really challenging because every single hitter has their own unique swing. So then a hitting coach is looking at some mechanical basis, basic things that are part of an organizational hitting philosophy that they're trying to apply to the actual swing. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is the approach at the plate, recognizing pitches, when you want to attack, when you're trying to drive the ball, when you're trying to go for a ground, like all the different things. The approach is a really interesting and very, mindful part of it. And then kind of connected to that, but also the film and the scouting and everything that goes along with it. There's so much that happens during the day for a hitting coach. And that's why, the Cardinals have an assistant hitting coach. The Cardinals will utilize Matt Holliday in his role as a bench coach, helping out with the hitters as well. That's something that Skip Schumacher did. It is not just getting in the cage with somebody and correcting aspects of their swing. There's so much that's going on every single day. And then the human aspect of it. I thought, Turner Ward's a former youth pastor. And I asked him, how does that impact what you do as a coach? And he talked about being able to connect and relate to the different individuals. And that's a big part of it as well, because if the hitter won't hear what you're saying, then it doesn't matter what is actually being said.
Well, that's, I think, one of the more important aspects. And in my time covering baseball, I heard a lot more than anything that if anything, a hitting coach can be your psychologist. like your personal therapist. And maybe that's the most important job they do, because being a hitter, depending on who you are, is very psychologically challenging. So talking players through slumps, talking players through the bad times might be the most important thing a hitting coach does. Even then, though, your reach is limited. There's only so much you can do.
I also think, okay, so let's compare like a Paul Goldschmidt to a Nolan Gorman, right? So the development process is still very much going on for a Nolan Gorman. So if you're a hitting coach working with him, there probably is still a lot more teaching going on. Where if it's a Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado or Albert Pujols this past year, like any of those veteran guys, they got there for a reason. Their swing is their swing. They know how to adjust it. They know how to look at film. And so you're doing different things with them. So it's very, not only is the job so many different things, the job is so many different things in different ways with different individual personalities and experience levels.
And I imagine a manager can only be so personable. There has to be some distance between a manager and his players, whereas the hitting coach can be a bit friendlier, can be that buffer, as you mentioned, like a psychologist, someone to talk to. So in that type of role, is the hitting coach in some way the friendlier version of a manager, someone that the players can talk to?
I think it's different in every situation. With St. Louis, it's, think about the age of Oliver Marmol and just the way he does relate and connect to players. We're seeing younger and younger managers, and we're seeing managers in Major League Baseball that at one point were teammates with the players that they are managing. And you don't all of a sudden become non-friends with your players simply because you're their manager now. If it's a little bit older, I think what you're saying absolutely applies. So I don't know, those lines are getting more and more blurred on an every year basis. And just the important thing for a manager is to be able to command the respect. And I think you can be friends with that person. Now, to your point though, yes, the hitting coach, there can be a little bit more of a closer relationship with the hitting coach. Absolutely.
Winter meetings coming up in the second week. December 4th is when they start. So that's a few days where some things can go down. Do you expect much to happen in baseball and or with the Cardinals prior to those meetings?
Yeah, so I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because the last few off seasons have been so slow and the winter meetings have been slow. This is our first off season under the new collective bargaining agreement. Does that change things? Does that get teams a little bit more aggressive, which turns into more activity in the winter meetings, where it feels like the way it was 6, 7, 10 years ago? Maybe, but maybe not. Like I'd be lying to you if I gave you a straight answer on that, and we can just take the answer that I gave you and basically apply it to every single question about the off season. I don't know what it's going to look like. There's been a few signings here early on in the free agent period. Maybe that's a good indication that there's going to be a little bit more movement, or maybe it's just simply a case of a team being interested in somebody and they got a deal done.
All right, on Sports Open Line tonight, Matt, other than Turner Ward, the hitting coach for the Cardinals, the new hitting coach, what else you got?
Okay, so we only have an hour tonight. We do have Monday Night Football this evening here on KMOX. So we're going to have a few different things. We're continuing our parade of coaches. We'll talk some SIUE basketball tonight. We'll also talk some SLU men's soccer today, the NCAA tournament selection show after they won the A-10 tournament. So we really have a jam-packed single hour of Sports Open Line tonight.
Looking forward to it, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us.
You bet.
That is Sports Guy for KMOX, Matt Pauley.
Is that his title? Sports Guy?
He is the sports guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a little on the nose.
If you would have been the sports person, you would also be the sports guy.
Yeah.
Here.
I like it.
We have tickets to give away. We're going to give those away before the end of the show today at 2:00. A pair of tickets. And by the way, we're giving away tickets today and tomorrow for the International Friendly. That's what they call a soccer match that doesn't count for anything.
Friendly?
Except for fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's a friendly. That'll be between City 2 and the Bundesliga powerhouse Bayer Leverkusen. Which is going to be on Wednesday night.
My dad grew up watching the Bundesliga every Sunday morning. It was on St. Louis. I don't know what on St.
The
Louis.
Bundesliga.
Yeah, St. Louis local channels.
Okay.
I don't know what station, but it was a thing. And every Sunday morning, he said growing up as a little boy, he watched the Bundesliga.
I used to watch the Premier League all the time when it was on, I think it was called like Sports Channel or something back in the 90s.
Sports is really pushing the boundaries of naming things. Sports
This is
Guy and
back in the-
Sports Channel.
This was back in the 90s. Why overcomplicate it?
Well, we are called the show, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
what are
we're
you
now
talking
one
about?
to-
It was
one
your
to talk.
idea.
It was. You can blame me.
I do blame you for everything. So, yeah, we'll give away those tickets. We're going to take callers to get those tickets. We'll tell you when. Don't start calling us now. We'll let you know. We're going to give away tickets for the game here in St. Louis on Wednesday night before the end of the show today. Also, a bit of news coming through here in the last couple of minutes. Amy will be happy. The Associated Press is reporting that an appeals court has kept President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan on hold in the program's latest legal setback. And that is that happened here in St. Louis.
It did just down the street at the
Down the
Eagleton
street.
Courthouse.
That's right. So that was happening. I think we kind of figured that was going to happen. So latest news on the student loan forgiveness plan, if you wanted to hear about that. When we come back, we're going to hear about a celebrity who has a St. Louis tie and has for years, and I had never heard about
Like
this.
a big celebrity.
A huge celebrity.
Huh.
Had a tie here for like 40 years, and
Like
I
a-
knew
a
nothing about it
n-
until 2 days ago.
Not
It's
like
pretty
a,
cool.
Not
It's a cool
necktie,
story.
like a tie to St. Louis.
That's right.
Okay.
You're going to hear about that next on the show on KMOX.
Get ready for a one-of-a-kind audio-visual experience. Timeless and everlasting. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. Live in concert, 3 p.m. Saturday, December 10th at Enterprise Center. Don't miss this holiday tradition. $1 of each ticket sold to the 3 p.m. show will go to SSM Health Cardinal Glennon. Get full ticket and show details on the events page at KMOX.com.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now your Bite This Network traffic report. It looks like every vehicle in the country is currently headed to Hardee's for a saucy A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99. You heard that right. Every single car, truck, and annoying electric scooter thing all heading to Hardee's. But don't take a detour. Hit the brakes on your hunger with a Charbroil Double Deal. Bite into the new A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99, only at Hardee's. Tax not included. Available for limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price may vary. A1 is a registered trademark of Kraft Foods used with permission.
Home Sweet Home mission is to give underserved families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. To learn more, go to homesweethomestl.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Back to the show.
Yeah, the show!
With Amy, Chris, and Kevin on KMOX.
Cause trans like us, baby, we were born to
I don't mind this song at all.
I hate this song.
You do?
Yes.
Look, I don't think... I know Kevin talked about this. I don't know if it was on the air or in the office at one point. We talked about how there's this, or has been, a weird phenomenon over the last 10, 15 years. And maybe it's died down a little bit now as more younger baseball reporters have come onto the scene. But for whatever reason, for a time there, it was like a thing amongst baseball reporters specifically to love Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
They loved him. And I don't know why, all talking about the concerts and going to the shows. I don't get it, but apparently it's been a thing.
Was it the age group? Because a lot of like
I think
50-year-old men, 60-year-old men love Bruce
Yeah.
Springsteen.
Look, I like that song.
Mhm.
I like Born to Run. And there are a couple of others. And when I was a kid, I had the Born in the USA album, and I really liked that at the time. Some of his stuff is really good. I like it, but I don't know. It's not like an obsession for me like it is for a lot of other people.
To me, he is the most overrated singer,
that's-
performer in the history of the United States.
Okay, well, that's just stupid.
No, he's not that
That's
good.
stupid
All of
to
his
say
songs
that.
sound the same. And Born to Run is up there with worst Bruce Springsteen song, right up there with Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Okay. No, you're just, okay, now you're wrong.
It's the truth.
Like, you don't have to think he's great. I think he's a really entertaining act.
Yeah.
And I think he's talented. I think some of his music is really catchy. I get the longevity. I don't know if I get the obsession, though, and it's different. And he seems to be a really good dude, too.
And here's if people think, oh, that's just your opinion, Amy, it's subjective. Who are you? No, I get it. But here's the thing. I can't stand Dave Matthews, and I don't really like you too. But not you. I mean, you too.
I know what you're
but yeah,
saying.
okay. But I will objectively say, no, U2 is one of the best bands in history. I know they are. They've got the staying power. I know they're talented. It's just not my type of music. And I know Dave Matthews is incredibly talented, incredible lyricist and artist and performer. I just don't happen to like any of their music, but I can objectively say, yes, they are talented. They are good. I don't feel that way about Bruce Springsteen.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so what's his tie to St. Louis?
So here's his tie to St. Louis. He was on the Graham Norton show a couple of days
which,
ago.
by the way,
is a
is
huge,
the best.
That it is so great because they have all these celebrities. They're all on the couch together.
Yeah.
And being interviewed at once. And it seems like a cocktail party.
Yeah, and if you think, oh, Jimmy Fallon does that. No, he doesn't.
Nah, it's not as
This
good.
is like Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey, Helen Mirren, and Julie Andrews all on the couch at once. And you're like, what in the world is happening?
Right.
How does he get these people all on the couch and they just talk and drink and it's the best?
So he told this story about in the 80s. It was the early 80s this happened. He was in St. Louis for a show, and well, you can just hear him tell it.
I was at a cinema by myself on an off night from the tour in St. Louis watching Woody Allen's Stardust Memories. Okay. During which Woody Allen is not necessarily so kind to his fans in the film. So I had met a kid in the lobby who was there with his girlfriend and said, do you want to sit with us? So I said, okay.
See, already, I'm just think that's a hard no. You want to sit with us? No. I don't. No, you did it. You're
Said,
lovely.
okay.
You got time.
So I went and I sat and we watched the movie. And he says, is that how you feel about your fans? I said, well, not so much, right? He says, I'm going to go home now. Will you come home and meet my parents?
You didn't.
I said, okay.
Oh, I love that.
And so I went somewhere in St. Louis with this kid, and we walked in the door, and it's about 11 o'clock at night. And he says, Mom, I have Bruce Springsteen with me. And she goes, who? And he runs in his bedroom and comes out with the album and shows her the album cover. She says, Bruce Springsteen. And of course, then she goes, oh my God, let me make him some eggs. And so around midnight, I was sitting in a little house in St. Louis having some eggs with this kid and his mom. And I saw them for decades after that, every time we came to town.
That's an incredible story.
Who is this family?
Okay, so I saw a story then. I went looking for this because I had never heard this before. And there was an old KSDK news story. Remember, John Pertzborn was doing the story about going to this family's house and how Bruce Springsteen used to be there. And it was a theater in Brentwood. that does not exist anymore. I think it was called the Brentwood Theater. It's not there anymore. The house was in Creve Coeur, and the mom, it was Steve Sadanovsky was the name of the person, the kid that was in the theater and met Bruce Springsteen and took him to his mom's house.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what an awesome story.
That's incredible.
And then, like, every time he comes into town since, he says, like, hey, I'm in town or whatever. I guess that's what happened, but what a cool thing to do.
That's an incredible thing to do. I just can't imagine. Now I feel bad for poo-pooing Bruce Springsteen so
You
much
did.
because that was a really
I
nice
told
thing
you he's
of
a
him to
good
do.
dude.
Mhm. Now, technically, I didn't say he wasn't a good dude.
Yeah.
I just said he was highly overrated. I might have said he was the most overrated performer in United
You
States
did.
history. I
You
think I
did.
said that
And you should be reprimanded for that because that's silly.
eventually. But it reminds me of a story, and I think it was Ray Bork. All of a sudden, I'm blanking on this, but the NHL Hall of Famer Ray Bork, who played forever with the Boston Bruins, he was he was practicing, and of course, the practices for NHL teams are fairly open. You know, you can go to the local ice rink, you stand there, and especially 20 years ago, oh my gosh! I mean, I could talk to the players as a teenager and interview them for high school papers because they were so approachable. There was a 6-year-old who was at the practice, and he handed Ray Bork a birthday invitation to his birthday party. He's like, "Mom, can I give this to Ray Bork?" She's like, "Okay, well, he's very busy and he's got practice, but I think it's nice that you invite him." But, you know, just kind of letting him down beforehand that Ray Bork was not going to come to his birthday party. So he hands him the invitation and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much." And they go on about the day. The birthday party rolls around, and partway through the birthday party, there's a knock on the door, and Ray Bork showed up to this random 6-year-old's birthday party.
That's so ridiculous.
How cool is that?
That's very cool. That's like a Keanu Reeves recently I think it happened this year in a bar in England, like a hotel bar,
Mhm.
and meets a guy there. And the guy's like, yeah, my wedding's coming up. And Keanu shows up
Wow.
to the wedding. Keanu Reeves showed up to
That
some
would
random
be
dude's
incredible.
wedding.
You know, it really does make a difference when celebrities or athletes reach out. I know when I was like a dorky 13-year-old interviewing blues players, the fact that they talked to me and took me seriously, or at least made me feel like they were, really made a difference. And like, I can do this.
And
I
now
can
look
be
at
a
you.
journalist.
You're a dorky 40-year-old interviewing Major Garrett.
But I'm with you, Ranji.
Dang it. Final hour of the show coming up next on KMOX.
All the things that come to you.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
The holidays are here, but for some families, they'll spend that time at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. I'm Carol Daniel. KMOX, along with all of our sister stations at our company, Odyssey STL, are again proud to partner with you and other generous St. Louisans in our community to raise funds for the Tree of Hope campaign for Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It's so easy to give. Just text the word HOPE to 20357 or KMOX.com/Cardinal Glennon.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope, we use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. This year, Banner Construction is working on the back deck at the Brennan household, and this now marks the 6th time on over 2 different homes that Banner has helped the Brennan household, and they can help you too if you give them a call at 314-569-1050. If you'd like your home to be the neighborhood showcase, or if you just have an exterior renovation that needs some serious attention, Banner Construction has the equipment and the craftsmen with more than 25 years of experience. They also carry the top products, including that James Hardy fiber cement siding. Banner is a James Hardy elite preferred contractor, and that James Hardy siding has the rich look and feel of wood. That's why it's preferred by so many luxury home builders. Then there are those Pella windows. Believe it or not, they come with a 30-year guarantee. No other product or service offers that. And Banner is a platinum certified Pella window contractor. That's Banner Construction at bannerconstruction.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, it's a blue, sunny sky, 42 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour is just in. President Joe Biden's plan to forgive student loan debt for millions of borrowers lost another battle in court today when a federal appeals court panel agreed to a preliminary injunction halting the program while an appeal plays out. The ruling by the 3-judge panel from the 8th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals in St. Louis came days after a federal judge in Texas blocked the program, saying it usurped Congress's power to make laws. The Texas case was appealed, and the administration is likely to appeal the 8th Circuit St. Louis ruling as well. Police captured a University of Virginia student suspected of shooting and killing 3 members of the football team as they returned to campus from a field trip. 2 other students were wounded. Matt Demlin, news director at WRVA Radio.
The suspect is a former UVA football walk-on, played in 2018, or at least was on the team in 2018. And actually, we're just now getting news that he was actually arrested just outside of Richmond.
The violence erupted near a parking garage and sent the campus into an overnight lockdown while police searched for the gunman. They were hoping to be back in their desks today, but repairs are still ongoing at the adjoining schools rocked by last month's deadly intruder shooting in St. Louis. KMOX's Kevin Killeen reports.
From the outside, the collegiate school looks calm. Black balloons hang on a fence, balloons that have lost some of their air fills since the October 24th shooting that left 2 dead and several injured. On one side of the building, workers in an orange bucket lift are hoisting up new thermal windows to replace the old windows that were shot out. And the American Federation of Teachers president is in town, scheduled to meet with family members and staff of the 2 schools.
14 car break-ins and 12 vehicles stolen this weekend in downtown and downtown West.
There were several carjackings throughout the city. Major Renee Kreisman says there's been an increase.
We've recovered 2 or 3 of the vehicles over on the Illinois side of the river. We have identified some suspects from a carjacking from this weekend.
But those suspects are not in custody yet. But she tells KMOX 2 or 3 of the recent smash and grabs are related to the same groups that police believe are responsible for the carjackings. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Brace yourself if you own a car, you're about to run into some much higher insurance rates. Steve Butts of Crawford Butts Insurance tells Total Information AM an increase in severe crashes is one cause, supply of parts is another.
Most policies, you have 30 days of car rental. We never ran out of car rental. They could always replace your car, find the bumper, find the quarter panel, whatever, do the repairs, get it done. Now we're frequently blowing past the 30 days because the guy at the body shop is still waiting to get the parts.
But says auto insurance rates are going up an average of 20% for good drivers, even higher for younger drivers or drivers with issues on their record. The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk, Amazon plans to slash thousands of jobs. Details from business reporter Jason Brooks.
The New York Times reports that Amazon is planning to cut 10,000 workers, with the cuts centering on tech and human resources employees at the company's headquarters in Seattle. Amazon has around 300,000 workers at its headquarters and 1.5 million worldwide in all of its operations. The e-commerce firm recently cautioned that its growth could slow in 2023 due to macroeconomic issues, and that's after its growth earlier this year slowed to its weakest pace in 2 decades.
Amazon announced last month it planned to hire 150,000 seasonal workers. The Dow from Stifel's up 175 points to 33,923. And there's a vehicle fire, 270 north at 44. 3 right lanes are closed. Stall 70 east before 141 on the right shoulder. Another stall 6440 west before Boyle, the right lane closed.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny, chilly, up to around 45 this afternoon. And then that snow comes in tonight. Could be mixed with some rain at the start, but 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation into tomorrow morning. Watch for slick spots again tomorrow night. Low 40s in between tomorrow, down to 25, 30 tomorrow night. With AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Dean DeVore, and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
And right now across the region, we've got a sunny sky. It's 42 in Florissant, 43 in St. Peters, and 42 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Final hour of the show before the Dave Glover show, minus Dave Glover, with Kevin Wheeler, featuring Kevin Wheeler. And this is the show sans Kevin Wheeler for today, because Kevin's going to be on the Dave Glover show, which starts at 2.
Way to be efficient with that introduction
I
there.
could have said that in 60 fewer words.
Probably. Okay, we've been talking a lot about Elon Musk and whether or not he's a genius or a troll or a crazy person or a combination of all of the above. And put a pin in that for a second, right? This whole idea of Elon Musk as this rogue billionaire buying Twitter, subsequently driving it into the ground. Well, there was an opinion piece in the Washington Post that looks at the, quote, myth of the billionaire genius, saying, let's put this myth of the billionaire genius to rest. And it looks at Sam Bankman-Fried, who was he was considered to be the successor to JP Morgan. He was in crypto. And I think it was just earlier this year, his company, which is a
FTX.
Yes, which is a crypto exchange company.
Yeah.
It was valued at $32 billion. And they just recently filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
It just fell off the face of the earth.
That's kind of quick.
Yeah. So they have these wonderkind billionaires that we're touting as geniuses. And then for some of them, like Elon Musk or Sam Bankman-Fried, they make a decision that seems either unreasonable or inexplicable, and the damages are tremendous. Partly because you're dealing with a billionaire, so you would think that most of their pursuits would be rather large. And yeah, so she's saying, why are we lifting these people up on a pedestal? And I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I'm not anti-billionaire in general. I mean, this is the way it works in a capitalist system. And if you are someone like Steve Jobs and you revolutionized the world of information and Apple computers and iPhones, and you changed the way we communicate with one another, or you're Jeff Bezos and you create Amazon, or at least even have the idea for Amazon, because I know a lot of people say, well, there's all of the workers who are fulfilling the Amazon dream, and maybe he had the idea and other people created it. But even having the idea is what you pay for. It's so hard to have a unique idea. He was able to pull it off. I don't begrudge them for that. So I think there's something to be said for the billionaire genius, and just because someone makes a decision that absolutely blows up or implodes the company doesn't mean they're no longer a genius.
I think we throw around the word genius a little bit too much.
I do too.
I think Elon Musk is smart. I don't think he's a genius. I think the quality he has is ambition.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the most important quality here, because there are a lot of people in the world who have brilliant ideas, but maybe we never hear those ideas. Maybe they never come to fruition because they have the idea, but they don't have the ambition to do anything about it. And maybe they're better ideas than what some of the billionaires have come up with, but they don't either have the ability to get in front of somebody who could help make that idea come to fruition, or they don't have the financial backing to make that happen. I think the way we talk about people with a lot of money is we just assume that they're smarter than us, so that they are more brilliant than we are. But it's not always true. Let's. I'm going to use Jobs as an example. You
Okay.
mentioned him. Steve Jobs is considered a genius, or was, and I say was because the guy's no longer with us. One of the reasons that he may not be with us any longer is because he put off cancer treatments because he thought he had a better way to fight the pancreatic cancer that was going on in his body. And he was implored by people who knew him, family members, to please go get surgery because it was something that may have been treatable if they had gotten to it sooner. They knew it was there, but he was into this alternative lifestyle kind of thing. And he thought, nah, I'm going to be okay because I'm living this way. And this is going to take care of the cancer in my body. Well, by the time he decided to have the surgery, it was too late because it spread. So is that a genius?
But here's the thing. This is why I don't think, and I don't know the whole story with that. I actually didn't even know with him seeking alternative treatment and all of that, which is
He was going
everyone's
by
right to do
diet.
that.
He thought, if I have a certain
Yeah.
diet, I'm going to be okay.
Here's why I don't think that's disqualifying, because when you are a genius, you generally manifest that in a certain field or area of study. Just because you are brilliant in computer science doesn't necessarily mean that you will be a genius in the medical world. And we would never hold athletes to that same standard. We would never say, is Albert Pujols or Mike Trout or whoever, Aaron Judge, the greatest of all time? No, because have you seen him play tennis? The guy's terrible. Like, it doesn't have anything to
I don't
do
think
with
that's the
their
same
genius.
thing. I don't think it's the same thing. I think what we're talking about here is when we use the word genius, we use it as an all-encompassing, this guy thinks on a level that we could never possibly understand. He's too smart for us, and we should never question him because he's a genius, which is what is happening with Elon Musk and he's got a really odd supporter base. It's strange to me how people will listen to anything he says and just assume that he's right. He's right because he's Elon, because look what he did with SpaceX. Look at Tesla. He's brilliant. He's PayPal. He's smart and he's a billionaire. So he must be smarter than me.
So my question is, though, does that mean that he's not a genius, or does it mean that people don't have a good understanding of what the word genius means? I would argue that the word genius does not mean all-encompassing and all of the decisions you're making. Thomas Edison was famously absent-minded, and a lot of time those truly brilliant people in science or innovation maybe don't have practical life skills. And you wouldn't say, oh, well, he wasn't a genius because he didn't know how to change a tire or he was absent-minded. Again, I feel like it's more specified, and if we're trying to apply that label and then disqualifying or removing that label because of an area of weakness, I feel like that's on us rather than on the label.
Okay, then we should stop idolizing these people.
Boom.
We should quit and quit assuming that just because they've accumulated a lot of wealth that they're better than the rest of us. They're not. They're not. I mean, they are, in many cases, got off to a great head start. What would Elon be now had he not had all that that diamond money in his family growing up? What would he be now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would Tesla be a thing? Well, yeah, probably would have been, just without him strong-arming his way in. Or SpaceX even. Like maybe
Yeah.
I think that we just that's what I agree with you on this. We have to get past the assumption that just because a person has a lot of money, they are smarter than the rest of us. We do have to acknowledge that sometimes it's because they had a tremendous head start that the rest of us did not have. That's not everybody, but it is in Elon Musk's case. It is in Donald Trump's case. These are people who had money growing up and never have known what it's like to be poor.
And I think this is going to be a different point than the one that we're making, talking about billionaires. But the idea, I think, it's tangential, and that is this idea that a billionaire genius, let's say they're a genius, is good at one thing, has built that company up, that again, they would be great or make good decisions in another field.
Well, that's what's happening with Elon and Twitter.
And that's what's happening with Elon and Twitter. But I think that also happens so often in politics. This is, again, super random. But remember Ben Carson, the famous neurosurgeon?
Yeah, the cardiologist, right?
Yes, I think he was a neurosurgeon.
I thought Ben Carson was a cardiologist. Yeah, you might be right.
At any rate, maybe he was a surgeon. Yeah. But he truly was a brilliant man in that field and had done incredible work. He was not a good politician. Again, just because someone excels in one area doesn't mean they'll be a great politician. The same thing with Dr. Oz. He's a celebrity. What are his qualifications for Senate? What makes us think that he would have been a good senator? I'm not saying it's disqualifying. Goodness knows Ronald Reagan was a celebrity before he was president of the United States. But there's something about, I feel like we fail to make distinctions and say, okay, this person can be brilliant in this field. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good crossover as either a senator or the owner of Twitter.
That's a great point. However, the disagreement I'll have with you is that anybody should be able to run for office.
Yes.
You know, like we joke about, oh, this guy was an actor. Why should he be president? Or he was a plumber. Like he shouldn't be allowed to run for Congress. I mean, because
right.
A representative, a senator, a president should be representative of the country.
Sure.
And that should be open to anybody. But yes, let's not just automatically assume that because a person is good in technology, that they're going to be good with all technology. Let's not just assume that because Elon Musk apparently has some good ideas with electric cars, even though some of those electric cars are having some troubles now, that he's going to be great at Twitter because he's a tech guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's clearly not. And he's clearly in over his head in this particular endeavor. But let's just not give them the benefit of the doubt that because they're smart in one area, and you mentioned Ben Carson, you're right, he's a neurosurgeon, that just because he's good at that doesn't mean he's going to be good at being a president. Doesn't mean he would be good at other jobs too.
And he really struggled a bit on in politics and on the campaign trail. And because of that, he was often mocked. And it bothered me because the man is not dumb. He is a neurosurgeon, but then he's mocked as being dumb because that just wasn't his field. Okay, going back to the billionaire class.
And real quick,
oh, yeah.
I hate to say that people should stay in their lane because it's unfair. It's unfair to look. I had been in sports, at least for my job, for all of my adult working life. Okay, I've done sports stuff. That doesn't mean I didn't know other things too. So it's you should not just pigeonhole somebody, but there are times where you are just really good at one thing.
Sure.
And brilliant at that one thing. Let's look at Kanye West. Kanye West is a brilliant musician. He's unbelievably talented and is always thinking 5 steps ahead of every other musician. You may not like his music, and some of his stuff is not great, but it's never boring and it's never the same. It's always changing. He's always adapting. But when it comes to other stuff, he is an idiot. He's an idiot when it comes to world events. Brilliant musician. The rest of it,
And very prejudiced.
Yeah, I mean,
Very, very prejudiced. Does not seem like a good person. Well, here's what I would say with the billionaire class. We can name Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and that's fine. Warren Buffett. But there are more billionaires out there that we just can't name. That's the billionaire to be.
The quiet one that nobody knows your name?
The anonymous one that nobody knows your name. That's the billionaire you want to be.
And you're pulling strings and nobody knows who you are. There's the guy he lives in Chicago. He's like 90 something. And now his name is escaping me. See? And
he's that good.
He is a political donor and he has been extremely influential to conservative causes for a very long time. And there are, I think, 0 photos of him on the internet. Like you can't even
That's what I would do. See,
get
I
a
wouldn't
look at him.
I wouldn't necessarily contribute to political campaigns. I'd want to help people and help charities.
Right.
But let's say I'm not a political donor. I have no desire to throw my influence around. I would just pay someone to erase me from the internet and then have a team of people able to look at charities and what we can do to best use that money to help communities. And then I would just stay as far away from the public eye as possible.
Barry Seed is his name.
Well, now you outed him.
Well, he's been outed, but again, that's what we're talking about. That this guy is extremely wealthy and he is influencing policy, and nobody knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the kinds of people. Yeah, I'm right there with you. If I wouldn't want anybody to know. If I won that Powerball,
Mm-hmm.
I would just be gone.
Yeah.
You'd never see me. You'd be like, "Where's Ron? Why
Where's
didn't he show
Ronji?
up to work?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, oh, he must have won the Powerball."
Yeah.
That's
Or
why he's
some
gone.
or you're just, I don't know, you drove into the sunset. Hey, I would like to talk about this man who lived in a cave. And it's because you were just talking about disappearing. It makes sense. There's a natural connection here.
Should we do that when we come back?
Yeah, when we come back, I want to talk about this man who lived on a cave and survived on instant coffee.
What?
Yeah.
That's coming up next on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-4400 today. That's 314-328-4400 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-4400. Again, 314-328-4400.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
The holidays are upon us. Call Zero Res now before the rush. Get 3 rooms Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and get a free room of fiber protectant for an $80 savings plus $50 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Do you have a plumber you can call on at any time of the day or night when you're having an emergency with your plumbing system, whether it's residential or commercial? Beast Plumbing is who you should have in your contacts. I'll give you that information in just a moment. This is Bo Matthews to let you know about the November deal that's going on at Beast Plumbing. If you have a need for a garbage disposal, they have $25 off the Badger 333 or $50 off the Evo Pro 1100 XL. That's the one I would go with personally. But this is the opportunity you don't want to pass up. Matter of fact, for the holidays, Beast Plumbing is putting out a double deal. The garbage disposal deal, plus they have $75 off all water heaters. So when you have a need for either one of those things or beyond when it comes to plumbing, maybe you've got a commode you got to get fixed before the family comes over for the holidays, make sure you call Beast Plumbing. Here's their number. It's 314-500-LEAK. That's 314-500-LEAK. Online, it's BEISplumbing.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Beast Plumbing.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Amy Marks, Chris Ranji on the show. Kevin Wheeler sitting in for Dave Glover today here on KMOX. Your text message is welcome, 314-436-7900. From a 314, Amy. Ranji, you need to stay in your lane and go back to sports. See?
Yeah. That was probably me texting in. I didn't know if it would go through.
Well, let me read this number and see if it's you.
Okay.
I think that usually when that happens, it's just somebody who doesn't agree with you.
Yes.
The stick to sports people are always people who disagree with you. It's never somebody who agrees but thinks you're terrible at it. They just don't agree with you.
If you didn't stick to sports and you said something that this person loved, I don't think they would have sent that message.
100%. No, it's the same thing as, the, hey, shut up and dribble thing. It's only when they disagree with the athlete that
Which
they
is
say that
funny
stuff.
because I don't agree with you, and I'm glad you didn't stick to sports.
Well, you don't agree with me because you are wrong. Normally. We were talking, or you mentioned this.
Because you
before the
showed
break.
me. This is a back and forth. There's a guy
I
who
know.
lives in a cave,
Yeah.
and he stayed alive for 9 days.
Yes. So this
With
guy
instant
was
coffee.
in South Korea, in eastern South Korea.
Mhm.
He was in a zinc mine, and he is a miner who works there. He and another guy, both of them, one guy 56, the other one 62. They were trapped 200 meters below the earth. This was at the end of October. They had hardly any water.
Hmm.
They drank droplets that fell from the ceiling of the mine shaft.
Mm.
They had on them 30 packets of instant coffee powder, which had sugar in it and it had cream. So they got the carbs, they got the fat. They were able to survive off this. And I love coffee.
Yeah.
But if you had to survive for 9 days in a mine, and the only way you were able to do it was by they would take the water, the little water they would get, and they would put it into the packets. And so they would have some kind of sustenance. Can you imagine surviving a week and a half like that?
No. I mean, there's the whole idea of surviving on instant coffee. That's keeping you alive. I don't care if you have a Thanksgiving meal. Just being in a mine trapped underground is one of the most nightmarish scenarios I could ever imagine.
I don't think I fit the definition of claustrophobic because I don't think it's intense enough that I would like have a heart attack or something. But one of my fears, well, maybe I do have it then, because one of my fears is being trapped in an air duct.
You
Like-
spend a lot of time in air ducts, do
I've
you?
never been in one, but I watch movies
Yes!
where somebody gets into one because they have to travel to another room secretly, and I think I forget
Which
it. I'm
is
done.
hilarious because the Mythbusters did the air duct sneak in, and they were using suction cups and
Yeah.
magnets, and it was so loud. It was like Thor, the god of thunder, was trying to sneak into the building. It was like boom, and then the air duct would just echo, and then boom, and the air
Yes.
duct would echo. Like there's no louder way to enter a building than through the air duct.
So whenever you watch what is a lot of people's favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard,
Mm-hmm.
A, it's not a Christmas movie, so don't start with
So
that.
don't do that.
B, when Bruce Willis is going through the air ducts, it's not making any noise like that. So it's just completely unrealistic.
Yeah, that's like probably the most unrealistic part of Die Hard.
Sure. Amy Marks, Chris Ranji on the show. When we come back after the news, we're going to talk about a celebrity who's not nice like Bruce Springsteen.
I only know what life looks like and feels like through my eyeballs.
It's my
I wonder if anyone is where they thought they would be. I'm not where I thought I would be even 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Life changes so much. Yeah, hey, make your plans, do what you want to do, whether it's marriage or kids or your job or your health.
Discover the life of Dave Glover.
I'm surprised at how surprising life is.
Weekday afternoons beginning at 2, only on KMOX.
KMOX News Time is 1:28. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
After years of hearing the commercials on KMOX, I decided to finally make an appointment with Ophthalmology Associates. You know the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Busati, and Dr. Andy Royer. Well, I'd been hearing about dry eye, and I knew that I had dry eyes. Dr. Ranjan Malhotra told me that it's not just an irritating problem, it's actually irritating my eyes, and that it's so important to have dry eye addressed because it can actually scratch your cornea, cause greater damage, lead you to believe that your vision is getting worse. Turns out I don't need new glasses. I just need to address the dry eye situation. You should definitely check out Ophthalmology Associates. They are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or online at youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half-mile west of 270 eastbound on Manchester. Ophthalmology Associates. youridoc.com.
Staying warm this winter is the utmost importance for your family and your employees. So when it comes to residential or commercial electric, Reinhold Electric is the answer. I'm going to give you their number in just a moment, but if you have any issues with power to your furnaces, baseboard heaters, hanging electric heaters maybe in your shop or your garage, floor heat, driveway heat, snow melt systems, how about backup generators? Because when the power goes out during winter storms, there is nothing like having a backup generator in line that will fire up as soon as the public utilities shut down. It's a phenomenal experience. My father installed one years ago. It's the best money he ever spent. Reinhold Electric can do that for you. So when you have a residential or commercial need of electric work being done, call on Reinhold Electric. They work all over the area, all the way down to Lake of the Ozarks as well. Call them at 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158, and online at reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
At 1:30, it's sunny and 43 degrees downtown at the Arch. Are you ready for some more snow? Here's KMOX meteorologist Dean DeVore.
Unlike the snow that we had late Friday night into Saturday, this one is more generally around the area rather than more localized like that round was. But it is going to snow here later tonight and into tomorrow morning. There may be some freezing rain mixed in at the onset, but temperatures will be right around that freezing mark overnight as we get into tomorrow morning. The snow will taper off, and we're looking at a 1 to as much as 3 inches with temperatures in the low 40s. It gets icy again tomorrow night as we refreeze it down the 20s. And then right now it looks dry and chilly as we end the week.
The White House says President Joe Biden has objected to what it says is China's coercive and increasingly aggressive actions toward Taiwan during the two leaders' first in-person meeting of their presidencies. Biden says the goal was to manage their differences in the competition for global influence. The Supreme Court has cleared the way for the House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack at the Capitol to get phone records belonging to the leader of the Arizona Republican Party. We've got a stalled vehicle 270 south at Big Bend on the right shoulder, 6440 west at Boyle. The right lane's closed, and 70 east at 141 on the right shoulder. This afternoon, sunny and chilly with the high of 45, and then that snow could mix with rain at the start of the evening tonight, low near freezing. Tomorrow's high, 42 degrees. Right now, it's 43 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Your HVAC system is one of the biggest investments you have in your home, and it impacts your comfort every day. If you need a new HVAC system, contact us for a free estimate to see if you qualify for 0% financing for up to 72 months. And for a limited time, you can get double Carrier Cool Cash rebates for up to $3,500 in savings. With over 50 years of award-winning service, you can trust Air Comfort Service with your HVAC system. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Dr. Stork. Why give your family just ordinary eggs when they can enjoy the best? Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition compared to ordinary eggs. With 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, 25% less saturated fat, and 38% more lutein. Because the way we care is anything but ordinary. Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Lockheed Martin understands what it takes to accomplish critical missions around the globe. Through collaboration, communication, and interoperability, the F-35 is essential to Allied air power. Lockheed Martin, your mission is ours.
My Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But early detection allowed us to take control of the situation.
together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
Welcome back to the show with Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler. Well, what do you know? He'll be hanging out with the Glover show. I think filling in for Dave Glover, who is out today. Suspended as well. Yeah. I guess his suspension, though, superseded Kevin's suspension, which will be served at a different time. I've never seen such a cascade of suspensions at KMOX before.
We get suspended a lot around here.
I know.
It'll be my turn soon. Looking forward to it. We have some things to give away.
Oh, boy.
2 things together. It's a pair. We're giving away a pair of tickets to the International Friendly between City 2. That's the new football team. Soccer team that we're getting here in St. Louis. It's the City 2 team. They are playing the Bundesliga powerhouse Bayer Leverkusen. And that's going to be on Wednesday night. We got a pair of tickets to give away right now and also a pair to give away tomorrow. So you're going to want to tune into the show tomorrow between 10 and 2. Right now, we are looking for caller number 5. We're going to make this really simple. Caller number 5 to 314-436-7900. And that caller will win the pair of tickets to the game on Wednesday. So best of luck to you.
Don't you think even if you're not historically a soccer fan, it's such a cool event. You're going to see a historic team. You're going to see
first game at the stadium.
The first game at the new stadium.
At City Park.
At City Park. That's exactly right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Not Centene. It's City Park now.
It is City Park.
Yes.
I think it's going to be really, really cool. 2 things before we get into the topic of the segment. I have brought out the Die Hard Christmas Truthers, and they are mad at me.
Oh, I love it.
They are so mad because I suggested it's not a Christmas movie. It isn't. It just takes place at Christmas. The point is, I don't ever want to have this debate because it isn't a debate. It's a stupid debate because there is no debate. But they are mad at me. The texters are mad.
Is there one in particular that you would like to read?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I know this because I am right and you're wrong.
Okay, first of all, that sounds like your type of argument, so you've got to at least appreciate that.
That's from a 765. From a 618, there are only 2 types of people: those who think Die Hard is a Christmas movie and those who are wrong.
Wow.
Everybody's making the argument today. They're all very wrong.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Die Hard truthers, there's another type of truther that is Chris Myhill was one of these, the former executive producer of the Charlie Brennan Show. Chris Myhill, he was a snow truther. And I bring that up because they're calling for 1 to 3 inches of snow this evening. And Chris Myhill, whenever he would hear those reports, he would just shake his head. He was a snow truther. He doesn't believe it.
He doesn't believe in snow or what?
He believes that 99% of the time when everybody freaks out about an impending snowstorm, it's 3 flakes.
Well, I did the same thing when I was living in Chicago, and I think it was 2011, and did the same thing. I was on the air, and I was like, it's fine. It was afternoon, and the snowstorm was coming in the evening, like right around rush hour. And I'm like, it's fine. We get snow every year. All of you people relax. It's going to be okay. And it was really bad where people abandoned their cars on Lakeshore Drive.
I remember seeing that. They were
Like,
just,
they're just
frozen over from the
hundreds.
water and the
Yes.
snow.
Yeah.
It looked apocalyptic.
Yeah, and I think a family even died sitting in their cars because their exhaust pipe got covered by the snow, and the exhaust was coming back into the car. Yeah, so it actually ended up being really, really bad. You heard at the beginning of this segment a Morrissey song.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I thought it was a famous Morrissey song. I mean, as if any Morrissey songs are that famous. I don't know. Maybe they are.
I know. Here's the thing about Morrissey. What I know about him is every now and then I hear a song that I don't know who it's by, and I know the song, and then somebody says, that's Morrissey, and I go, oh, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. And I also know he's a giant pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I ever hear about
he
him.
looks like
he's
it too.
I don't really know exactly what he's done. I just know that he infuriates people all the time. And I guess my confusion is, why do you care so much? It's Morrissey.
Mhm.
And second, what's he doing? Like, why is he such a jerk? Well, he had a show at the Greek Theater over the weekend. And, well,
In LA.
yeah. And this is what happened. He stopped the show after 30 minutes.
Sorry, but due to unforeseen circumstances, the show is not going to continue. I'm very sorry. We'll see you next time. Apologies.
Yeah. So the people who were in the crowd, and there are many, many people who are tweeting this, they said he left after 30 minutes because he was cold.
Yeah. So
And the temperature was in the 50s.
Yeah, well, that's cold for California. They made the announcement, and it's funny because the story in spin.com, this is the lead sentence. Morrissey is only 2 shows into his US tour and is already acting very ... Morrissey. And there's a rumor being shared that Morrissey was, quote, too cold during his concert and he walked off the stage. Yes, he also says this November, he said this is a November tour at an amphitheater. So what was he expecting? And yeah.
Okay. Here's what I don't understand this. And I don't know what a typical number for cancellations is for a concert, but there's a database of all of the dates that he has canceled. And the percentage of dates that he cancels is always 30% or more. That seems like a high number to cancel every tour.
Seems really high.
And in some cases, he's only performing maybe 30 times.
Mhm.
So if you cancel 10 of 30 dates, that's a lot of dates to cancel. In 2019, he canceled 27% of his shows. He canceled 8 out of 30. In 2018, he canceled 10 out of 33. In 2017, he canceled 9 out of 32. In 2016, he canceled 17 of 46 shows. That's a lot of shows.
That's a lot of shows.
I need to hear from somebody who is a Morrissey fan. What is wrong with this dude? And why is he always canceling? And why is that the only thing I know about him? That he's a pain.
Yeah, probably because he is. And I wonder if we have any Morrissey fans. Like, how many Morrissey fans are there? There've got to be a few if he's selling those shows and going on tour. Wonder if any of them are listening. 314-436-7900. You can text in or call. You can also leave a voicemail at
944-1120. 314-944-1120. We always love to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you have I don't think I've ever had a bad concert experience.
So not
like a cancellation or anything?
Not like a cancellation. I know a friend of mine was at the Kings of Leon concert here in St. Louis when they walked off
that
the
guy
stage.
they had a drug problem.
Well, but they said a bird pooped on him.
Wait, come on.
No, I think he said, I don't want to be gross, but it pooped like...
In his mouth?
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's what he said. And so they canceled the concert.
It was probably in the dome.
Yeah.
Probably
No, I
pigeons
think it was
flying around.
Riverport, and they walked off the stage. So I haven't been a part of that type of concert. The worst concert experience I ever had was the Band of Horses concert in 2010.
Who?
Band of Horses. They sing that song, The Funeral. It's a pretty famous song. At any rate, they were good. They're a good band. And we went to the concert, and they never interacted with the audience. They never said a word. They walked out on stage and basically sang every song in order that was on their CD and then walked off the stage, to the point that I'm not convinced they didn't just hit play on the CD and lip sync the whole time. It was so bad. It was the most boring concert I've ever been to. I also went to a Paolo Nutini concert.
What are these shows that you're going to?
He's pretty famous, and he was so...
Well, hold on. We need to reconcile what you consider pretty famous.
Outside of St. Louis? I don't know.
I've never heard of either.
He
of
played
these
the
people.
pageant. I think he sold out the pageant.
Okay.
But he was high or on something. I don't know. But he was bent over the whole time, where like he was singing at his knees. And it was the weirdest thing. I kept thinking, is this guy just going to like die on stage? What's going on with him? And that was a very weird experience. But the Band of Horses was still the worst concert I've ever been to.
How would you feel if you're at a show? Do you think you'd be traumatized for the rest of your life if you were at a concert and somebody died? Like if somebody on stage died.
Oh my gosh,
because
this is a horrible
Isn't that what happened?
hypothetical.
What do you mean? Didn't that almost happen with Meatloaf?
Meatloaf?
Yeah.
Well, he did die.
Yeah, but not on stage, right? But he collapsed
Oh.
at one point, right?
I don't think I would be. I mean, I guess it depends. I'm
And
not
people
sure if
thought
I
he
would be
had died.
traumatized or not. I remember watching the Blues game when Chris Pronger's heart
Oh, gosh,
skipped a
that
beat,
was
stopped for a second.
terrifying.
That was very scary. I was at the Blues game a few years ago during the playoffs. The Blues were playing the Nashville Predators, and Kevin Fiala was skating full speed, probably for an icing or something, and caught an edge and went slamming into the end boards. Now, when you're an NHL player skating full speed, you're reaching speeds of 30 to 35 miles an hour. And he just caught an edge and hit the boards feet first, like skates first.
Oh.
And it snapped his femur. And the crowd got quiet. The music stopped. He was lying on the ice. And I just remember the distinct sound of his voice yelling in the Enterprise Center that was just dead quiet. And then the game was stopped for over 20 minutes while an ambulance showed up.
The
and
Missouri
brought
Valley
him to the hospital.
basketball tournament here
Mhm.
in probably, I don't know, 98, 99, somewhere in there. One of the players at Illinois State, I can't remember his name, Skip Schaefbauer, I think was
Mhm.
his name. And he had like a quad injury, and he had gone up for a layup or something or a rebound, and he came down and his femur snapped.
Oh my gosh.
And his screaming was like, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
That was really, really terrifying. We'll come back, close the show.
I think so.
We'll have something fun for you, though.
Yeah, not this. It started kind of funny with Morrissey and then got pretty morbid.
Well, you brought it down.
I did. Morrissey, though, you're right. He seems a little high maintenance.
314-436-7900. Worst concert you've ever been to. Tell us about it. Well, yeah, you could tell us about it. Coming up on the show.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Get ready for a one-of-a-kind audio-visual experience. Timeless and everlasting. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more, live in concert, 3 p.m. Saturday, December 10th at Enterprise Center. Don't miss this holiday tradition. $1 of each ticket sold to the 3 p.m. show will go to SSM Health Cardinal Glennon. Get full ticket and show details on the events page at KMOX.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
The pain was so bad, it felt like I was walking on knife blades. It took my life away. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet. I took about 4 steps to start to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know, whether you're young or old, these are life-changing. I've tried the rest. The best is Good Feet. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Let's go to the ballpark. We're going to Monster Jams. We're going camping. My attitude's changed. I'm a happier man. I'm like a regular dad now. The kids have seen that change and that confidence in dad, and they like the new dad.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Get your car at your price at Bomarito. Shop thousands of new vehicles at our state-of-the-art sales and service facility. Our product specialists will make your experience quick and easy. Or just browse, view, and buy 100% online with Bomarito Fast Pass. Let's get more for your trade and the Bomarito nationwide warranty. 10 years, 200,000 miles. A better experience, a better price. Go with the automotive leader. Bomarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at Bomarito.com.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Furnish Hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. More Amy, more Kevin, more Chris. What is this weird show? The Show on KMOX.
Place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam,
Just because Kevin's not here to stop us.
The sound of Kevin's absence.
My God, is he a Grinch?
Oh my gosh, he's the worst.
He's just stealing Christmas from us.
Honestly,
He's stealing the holiday season from you and me.
I've had to work on getting my Christmas joy back just from knowing Kevin.
Really takes it from you, doesn't he? Oh, God, this guy is the worst. The absolute worst. I have a defender on the text line at 314-436-7900. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It happens at Christmas. They play a Christmas song at the end. That's a horrible correlation. It is not a Christmas movie.
Interesting.
Thank you, 314. Our texter is correct.
Okay, you know the claymation Christmas movies that they play, right?
Yeah.
And there is one, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, rather famous, with the elf that wants to be a dentist. Do you know that elf's name?
No.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
No,
the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation, the Island of Misfit Toys, and there's an elf
No, okay.
who doesn't want to work in the toy factory.
Marco.
Okay, no.
William. I don't know.
His name is Hermes.
Oh.
Yes. And it's rather famous, but my
I believe
sister
you mean
and
Hermes.
Hermes. My sister and I were at a party one time talking about this claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the famous Burl Ives one. And we love this one. We watch it every year. She and I put money down that this elf's name was Eric. And I'm not sure why. And our friends were like, his name is not Eric. And we both said it was Eric, which is weird that we independently remember his name being Eric. So then we were bolstering our confidence that his name was Eric because we both believed it. And we lost some money on that bet. Because
How old were you?
I don't know, 25.
Okay. Yeah. I would like to bet against you as often as possible because I feel like I'd win a lot of money. Just on all kinds of things. A texter from 636, worst concert was Joy Wave. It's a C-tier clone of the Killers. They were playing at Delmar Hall. They spent the entire show complaining they should be headlining the pageant. and they said, our quote, our fans are so dumb. We play this song twice and they didn't even notice. That's right. What?
The C tier clone of the Killers is spot on.
I don't know who this is.
I do,
Joywave?
yes.
Our fans are so dumb. We played this song twice and they didn't even notice.
I love that they were at Delmar Hall complaining that they should be headlining.
That is
the
so
pageant.
ridiculous. We found another nerd from a 314. Did Amy mean Paulo Nutini at the pageant around 2008? Definitely disappointing.
Yes, that was it. That was it. Yes, thank you to that texter.
Who are these
It
people?
was 2008. Oh my gosh. It was the weirdest concert because he had this new song called New Shoes that kind of hit the mainstream. You know how sometimes one song will put an artist on the board, and that was it. He was from Scotland.
Yeah, I saw at a club, at a club in Chicago. They're like, we're bringing out this person, and it was the lady who sang American Girl, you know,
Oh yeah.
or American Boy.
Yeah.
That one.
American Boy.
That one. Yes. Yeah. I'm like, oh, she came out and played something else, and then went back to American Boy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you better milk this lady, because it is the most you're ever going to get, the most action you'll ever get. From
Okay, we have another texter
How do you know?
because he texted.
Oh.
And it says, if people celebrate Christmas by watching Die Hard because they think it's a Christmas movie, then that makes it a Christmas movie.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fair argument.
No, it
It's
isn't.
objective and somewhat philosophical.
Just because you tell ghost stories at Christmas doesn't mean ghost stories are a Christmas thing.
Is it like Schrodinger's Christmas movie?
Yes. Texter from, this is Big Blonde Dan.
Yeah.
Who texts into the show regularly. He says, we're talking about Morrissey ending his concert after 30 minutes
Mhm.
because he was cold. It was in the 50s and he was too cold.
At an amphitheater in November. You would think he would have anticipated that.
Big Blonde Dan says he's always got more important things to do.
Oh, no.
And he also says that's my Amy joke of the day.
Okay, first of all, don't drag me down with the joke.
Your jokes are really bad.
They're pretty good, though.
You have a good sense. This is a really interesting thing about you.
Yeah.
You have a good sense of humor. I think you know when things are funny,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't tell good jokes.
Okay, that's rude, unnecessary.
All right.
You know, you're like one of those politicians that says something real controversial right before the break.
Oh, so that you like when we had who was it? Bob Onder on?
I wasn't going to name names. But
Oh, I'm naming names.
so you can't push back. You're against a hard break. And by the way, the Kennedys killed Marilyn Monroe. And you're like, wait, what?
All
We
right,
gotta
good
go.
talking to you. Like, what? Hold on a second. Can you hang out for a minute? And could you expand on that?
Because we're up against a hard break, and you just threw out some heavy information.
All right, Jim, we appreciate your time on the show. Hey, yeah, just one more thing before I go. The Holocaust was not real. Okay, goodbye now. Like, what? What?
Yeah, and they'll say super controversial things. And yeah, you have to have time to push back. Okay, speaking of Morrissey,
Yeah.
he wrote a novel, and it's really bad. I'm not going to read some of it because some of the most off-putting or bizarre lines are really bad sex scenes. And I mean,
Ew.
it's like in his novel, and it's actually worth Googling because it's so bad. But the other scenes, just like how weird he is in some of the lines that he writes, he talks about people sleeping, and he described it, quote, all quiet, all still in this decent and pleasant atmosphere of slumber and repose, where lush houses of Betty Bye, Shut-Eye, snoozled in sleepland, a smiling sleep of dreamland. That's him describing somebody sleeping.
And it's too cold. I got to go home. He canceled the show because he was cold? What a dork. All right. You Morrissey fans, I don't get it. Kevin's going to be back tomorrow. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. Wheeler on the Glover Show is next on KMOX.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why we've formulated Neovitin 50+ multivitamins with 20 daily ingredients, including